Today's Best Ball Breakfast is going to look a little different. We're not starting off with a solo draft. That's because I got Fantasy Life's Dwain McFarland in the saddle. We're going to talk some shop, what he's seeing from training camp, who he's adjusting in his ranks and projections, and then naturally we will hop in a BBM draft. At 11 p.m. Eastern, Adam Levitan is returning after his 1-week suspension. We'll see if he's in a more, friendly mood this time around. We're going to pivot the solo draft to noon Eastern. So if you want to get all of that goodness of me fumbling around by myself, stay tuned for that. And then a very special treat batting cleanup. Of course, Pat Kerrane, always at 1 p.m. Eastern, but because it is Best Ball Guy week, BBG from So You Think You Can Tout from the Best Ball Guy channel in the Toxic Tower, he's going to be joining Pat and I for a draft. So fun day, different schedule. I'm Pete. This is Best Ball Breakfast. Let's do it.
Welcome to hot Best Ball summer. You slurp that suspension dipperino, honey?
Easy to click on Rashad White when it's all site credits.
Exodia.
Put the puppy in the bag, bro. I'm trying to grow the goddamn game.
The game is beatable, folks.
Slap King Summer, bitches.
7,000 hours of commercial-free Best Ball drafts starts now.
All right, Dwain McFarland joining me here on Best Ball Breakfast. We've been trying to get one of these on the books. Our schedules are always crazy. We did it. We found it, 10 a.m. Eastern today.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. If Pat's batting cleanup, I just have to get on base, so I don't want to strike out here. But, you don't want to take it too conservative either, Pete. I don't want to bunt or anything. A nice double, though. If I could have a double, and then be to third base by the time Pat comes up, I think this show will be doing good today.
No, see, Dwain, I think you're selling yourself short because this is you. You hit the single, but then you've got the wheels for the inside the park home run. I think that's what we're working with there.
Maybe at one point, Pete. I don't know if I still have those. I might blow a hammy out, these days. Yesterday, we went to the lake. So my wife loves we have this really cool lake that's by us that, is got all these really high rock walls and stuff. And so there's eagles out there, and my wife is infatuated with eagles. In fact, in my kitchen right now, at all times, there's this camera on Big Bear Valley in California of the two eaglets.
Yeah.
Right. And so she does this every year. And so yesterday, actually, one of the eagles fell out of that nest. So there's trauma in my house. We do believe that eagle's okay. But the reason we go to that lake is you can spot eagles there. Well, then my daughter went with us last week for Father's Day, and she got up at 6 a.m. to go do this because that's when you see the eagles. And so she loved it so much, she wanted us to take her friends back there yesterday. So we went, we hung out. They were jumping off the cliffs into the water. I was watching it first nervously, and then I figured out that they had it. And so, yeah, we had a good time yesterday out there hanging out. I have no clue how this all ties back into inside the park home run. I think the biggest thing, though, is I decided not to jump off the cliff because I was like, I don't want to hurt something. What if I hurt an arm or something, and I need to be typing and writing, we're into that busy part of the year. But yeah, I guess that's the tie-in. Yeah, I was old enough to know I shouldn't be the one jumping off the cliff anymore.
Shout out to the chat this morning. I would be remiss if I didn't give you guys that coffee pour you guys crave at the top of the stream. So Dwain, please indulge me as I give these ASMR freaks what they want. Ooh, how did that sound, Dwain? How would you grade that coffee pour?
That sounds terrific. I've already had my coffee for the morning. I've now got my water sitting next to me, but I think after the show, I'm definitely going to need another cup after hearing that.
Well, Dwain, one of the things are obviously heating up here with training camp. We're starting to get all kinds of news. I know you did a show with Zane the other day, who's been absolutely crushing it with the news nuggets. I am kind of curious. I know internally you talked about moving Josh Downs up in your rankings based on some training camp stuff. I'm curious what news you've actually found noteworthy where there's actually signal to compel you to adjust things.
Yeah, number one, Zane crushed it on the show, so you guys can go check it out for free over on Fantasy Football is Life. That's our new channel at Fantasy Life, so please go subscribe, if you're into that kind of thing. But also just be following Zane at Dhanani, Dhanani, Zane, Zain. He's doing a great job of just putting together, all these notes around just scouring, guys, all the articles, all the interviews, the videos. I love it when people will scour the videos, Pete, because I don't have time to scour of those videos. So it's just such a huge value add. But yeah, we walked through a lot of players, that he's been really talking about. And he's been, he's been on the scent trail, if you will. He's hound dogging it. And, it's funny because for me, I don't and I don't want this to sound bad because I really appreciate all the beat reporters and stuff saying players look good or they look bad. But really what I care more about is like, are they working with the first team? You know, how often are they playing inside? Are they playing outside? All those sort of things. You know, I mean, I want to hear that the player looks good, but we kind of expect players to look good like at this part of the year. And so obviously like the lightning rod is the Jaguars. You know, I mean, I don't think there's another team if we think about it holistically, like where we've been tracking more news. And the challenging part with the Jaguar stuff is everyone looks good, right? Brian Thomas Jr., he's the MVP of camp. Parker Washington, he's going to play all over the place. Like he's the next, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jacoby Myers getting squeezed, Bajal Tootin. Like there's storylines all across this team. And kind of the way I'm reading this situation right now is I think ultimately like all of these players, I think number one, in our projections, we've got the Jaguars projected for the most wide receiver routes per dropback. So that's one way to think about how often we think they're going to be running like 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, because we haven't even mentioned Travis Hunter yet. It just makes sense. Even though they did draft tight ends, you know, Borkercher, they drafted in round 2, kind of surprised everybody. I still think that like they're going to lean into a lot of these, you know, receiver sets. It just makes sense. That's just how they're built. That's the strength of their team. But I think it could be a situation where like all of them are in like the, you know, 80 to 85% range, kind of like what we've seen from the Packers historically. So I think there's going to be value somewhere with these players. I think it's tough though, Pete. I will say if I have to lean, and I do have to pick one Jaguar receiver, it is Parker Washington. He has things that like worry me about his profile. I put out a tweet a few weeks ago where I
saw that.
Third year, second half of the season breakout, kind of specific. I get it, guys, but I just wanted to go look like how often like had that profile really gone on to be good in future seasons. We saw the same thing from Michael Wilson last year as well. He's in that same bucket, and like the hit rates aren't great, guys. But at the same time, you know, when I watch Parker Washington, like he looks good, Pete. Like when I'm like, wow, good after the catch. You know, I mean, he can win, you know, at the point of attack. He can play inside. He can play outside. There are definitely some Amon-Ra St. Brown vibes, but when I look at Washington, like he's the one that I will click on occasionally in round 6. I'm like not all in on it. Brian Thomas Jr., even though he got all the buzz and I know he did what he did in year 1, like he's a little tougher for me because now he's like climbing into round 5 sometimes. And if you really read between the lines, like they're talking about him in a deep role. Remember last year to start the season, we were so excited is because Liam Cohen was like, we're going to move him all over the formation. We're going to let him do everything. He'll be short. He'll be intermediate. He'll be deep. They tried that early in the season. It didn't work. And then they moved him back into his really more of a vertical role, which is mostly what he played at LSU. It was like vertical or short, none of the intermediate stuff really in between. So I think BTJ is going to be out there. He'll be on the field, but it's going to be volatile. So I think it's just going to be tough to predict like which one of these guys is going to have the most value week to week. But if I had to pick one, like for me, it would be Parker Washington. How about you?
Yeah, I've been writing about it in the Fantasy Life newsletter. I just want to play it through the cheapest piece and the most talented wide receiver. So I'm going to be tilting my bets to Travis Hunter. I think it's just the best asymmetric way to play that offense, because if Travis Hunter hits, it is going to come at the expense of those other receivers. Like we're already getting spooked about some of the ADPs and the risks of Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr. I just feel like it's the double whammy. It's the leverage bet if Hunter hits and those pieces are likely to fail at cost. So yeah, I've had a hard time with the Parker Washington price. The stuff you laid out here, looking at how these guys did in their following seasons, it scares me. It scares me.
Yeah. I mean, and you can read them for the folks. You've got the tweet up there. It's not a great list.
Yeah, it's Hunter Renfrow goes from 16.8 to 8.1, 3.0. Rashard Matthews, 13.3 or 15.2 to 13.3 and 11.2. Marquise Goodwin goes from 14.9 to basically half, 7.9, 4.8. Marcus Wheaton, 14.8 to 5.7. Russell Gage, 14.6 to 11.9, 9.5. Juwan Jennings, 14.1 to 11.6. Not good.
Yeah. So I have been drafting Travis Hunter as well. My, look, he was really good in the rookie supermodel. So he's a prospect, that we definitely liked coming out. He was kind of hard to figure out how to place him in the model because he also had value as a corner. And so the Jaguars were basically drafting a unicorn, right? Travis Hunter by himself as a receiver probably doesn't go as high in the NFL draft. So I discounted his draft capital a little bit, but he still looked good, in the rookie supermodel as far as wide receivers go. So I'm with you. I'm also buying on Travis Hunter. The challenge is like where Hunter goes. There are some other wide receivers that I, depending on my build and how I'm set up, that I feel pretty comfortable. Like they're going to have roles, right? They're going to be on the field for sure. But I do hear you on the leverage side. If it is a deal where Travis Hunter like breaks out, to your point, either one of these other guys got hurt or they weren't good enough and they decided they needed to play more Travis Hunter. So I think I'm a little overweight on Hunter. I'm underweight on all the rest of the Jaguars, but I have been starting to click on some Parker Washington in round 6 or when he falls to me in round 7, which does occasionally happen. I'm like 120 drafts in. So quite a bit of my Parker Washington exposure is either from early in the year when he hadn't moved up in ADP yet or whenever he slips to me.
Yeah, and I got Dwayne's rankings pulled up here at Fantasy Life. You can see Parker Washington, wide receiver 32, Brian Thomas close behind at 34 there. Dwayne, we're going to talk about this on the fly. I jumped us in a Best Ball Mania draft. I tipped off the Discord if anyone wants to draft with me and Dwayne. We got 3 more spots here available. Dwayne, we'll talk about some of these usage bumps, news as we go throughout, but have you been having any chance to draft? I know you like to go on your walks. You getting in any drafts in?
Oh, dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like 120 in. I think for Best Ball Mania, I'm like 12 in. I try to pace those. So like the time box stuff, like I'll jump in those more often on my walks. Also, when I draft my BBMs, I like to be at my computer screen and have like everything up so I can just see all the late season matchups and everything super easily. When I'm on my phone, it's just like all memory, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I have been pretty, I don't know, I think I'm getting 4 or 5 drafts in like a day right now, and like 2 or 3 of them are on my walk. Wow. So yes, I have been
4 or 5 a day. You're putting me to shame like everybody else.
Well, hey, look, you're also doing this thing that's also really great. It's called So You Think You Can Tout. So I think you do have your hands full with that. But yeah, look, I'm researching fantasy football stuff. I'm prepping for articles, prepping for shows all day, every week, right? Doing projections and stuff. And I don't know. I just feel like drafting like is a really good way to put all that stuff to a test. And so I just try to draft as much as I can.
Yes. We are going to be drafting here from the 111 spot. This is definitely a part in the draft board where you're often looking at a bunch of green because Jefferson, Lamb, Amon-Ra are generally off the board. And then unless you're getting really frisky and pulling up a guy like Drake London, you're probably walking away with 2 running backs here. Is that how you've been playing it, or do you get more creative at the turn?
I've been more creative in the drafts where I'm doing a ton of them, and my BBMs I've just kind of pretty much gone with like mixing up those running backs, and then like as I get deeper into the season I may kind of pivot. I will say like I understand why the market is shifting back to the running backs. Like there's multiple things going on. Like passing yards are down 225 gross passing yards per game last year. That's the lowest since 2008 in the NFL. And there's multiple things, Gretsch has done some great work around like these quarterbacks not being able to necessarily read everything that's going on. You have the rotation of the safeties. So there's the defensive meta, and then they're also not wanting to give up the big plays. That's impacting a lot of these guys like Patrick Mahomes, even Josh Allen. And so that's all really pushing the receivers down. But at the same time, I think the really good wide receivers, like if that trend continues, they're going to be more valuable than ever. And I do think that AJ Brown, Drake London, Nico Collins, those guys all still have a chance to be very valuable. And I think they're fine to mix in like with your second pick. If you want to go with a back and then turn around and take one of those wide receivers, it also comes down to how you kind of play it out. Pete, you talk about it like the 2v2s. Yep.
Real quick, Genty, James Cook, Barkley, Hampton, Walker. Beautiful.
Genty. Yeah. And I don't get it, dude. I don't get Genty is one of those guys that can go anywhere from like 5 to 11.
Yeah.
Like people will just take him. I've been taking a ton of CMC. Like CMC's fallen to me so many times. It's crazy. And I just click him every time. I mean, if you think about wins over replacement, like CMC's still king. I get it. He's older. But there's also a chance like CMC's he's the 101 again this year. Right? CMC could still be the 101 this year and you get him later, but Genty is the next guy that I think has the chance to be that.
And then who do you want to pair him with? James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Achane, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry.
I mean, if you get James Cook to come back to you here, I would just take it, because he usually goes at the turn.
Yeah.
He makes me a tad queasy because he doesn't get any of the receiving work. And you have Josh Allen still doing stuff, inside the 5, but at the same time, like we've seen this for 2 years now. and it's been good in fantasy. So, yeah, I think the Genty Cook duo is a good start. What I was saying though is that how you can go with the receivers depends on how you feel about the running backs at the end of round 3 and early round 4. Like I'm really comfortable with Scattaboo in round 4. So it kind of comes down to that and how you want to ultimately build things out. But I do think there's a good chance that like someone that's taking a receiver down there at that end instead of the running backs, like I think there is potential, leverage over the field.
That's obviously been a huge talking point this summer of a lot of people, myself included, feeling like it's really hard to pull off zero RB builds, even anchor RB builds, where you're not coming away with at least 2 running backs through 4 rounds. Have you been mixing up your builds a lot, or are you pretty much always emerging from round 5 with a couple of backs?
Well, I do mix them up a lot just to see how it makes me feel, to your point. And I am with you. Having 2 to 3 running backs by round 5, I feel the best. Because then, like, I just never feel like pressed at any point to take some of the other backs that are really pushed up, that go a little bit later than that, that we're not as confident around. I think as like training camp and stuff goes, like that could change as we get more, clarity, if you will, around some of the running back 2s and stuff like that. Right now, man, if you're really waiting at running back, there's so many guys that could be nothing. And so I found myself having to always take like Tajay Spears or Dylan Sampson. And I don't want like 25% exposure to those players. But when I wait on running back, like there's not that many guys I feel certain that could, be the running back 2 on their team. And still like, even if the starter doesn't go down, give me something. Right. And like week 14, 15, 16, 17. And so I have been taking the running backs more often early.
That's a really good point too about there's so many factors that work against zero RB working. And one of the things, like you said, if you are really specific in your zero RB targets, it means you are going to be heavily concentrated on them. Like in years where we have more options late, a really good rookie running back class, a ton of ambiguous backfields, you can spread your exposures out and mix and match, and don't let the structure be the value add, not the player selections. You put a lot on your individual player takes and evals when the player pool isn't as strong deep in the draft.
Yeah. And the challenge becomes like, it's fine to have a Tank Bigsby or a Brian Robinson Jr. or some of these guys that we think are pretty clear handcuff 2s. But at the same time, like we know, like their spike week value is like, it's a lot more, there's weeks where they'll score the 2 touchdowns. Like Pacheco could be in that group as well. But man, if you don't get the injury, they're not giving you much. So I don't want to have a team where I'm weak up top and like all my darts later essentially just handcuffs. Like that's just really challenging.
All right, Dwain, we started with Ashton Genty and James Cook from the 11 hole, getting a little bit of a unique combo there with Cook falling to 14. We're going to be on the clock at 3:11 here in a second. Best available by ADP. Kyron Williams, Josh Allen, Javonte, and then you got some receivers, Ladd, Tedoroya, Igbuka, Wilson. How do you like to play?
I usually take one of these receivers here because I really like Scattaboo as well coming back.
Gotcha.
I don't have much Kyron unless he falls past ADP, and he's falling now because of the 50% comment last week, right around
so
corn.
Ted, Igbuka, Garrett Wilson, or Burden?
I like all of those guys. And so whichever one it works for you, like as far as the way you're trying to build your exposure, I think anyone saying that they can tell you for sure which one of those guys is going to be the one this year, like I can paint pros and cons for each of those players, right? So who do we do? Ted?
We grabbed Tedoroya there.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I slight lean to Tedoroya and Wilson, coming around on Ladd for sure, but he went right before us. Allen, Javonte, Garrett Wilson, Jacobs, Burden, or we pull up your guy Scattaboo.
Say we take Burden or Scattaboo.
Yeah, you tell me. I want the Dwain.
All right, let's do Burden.
Burden.
I want to give a chance for Bajal Tootin to come back as our RB3.
He ain't coming back to pick 59, Dwain. I'll tell you that right
now. I get him quite a bit, man. He slides to me a lot. We'll see.
Not in a stream room with these fellas. I'm telling you.
Not with okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Well, you could have talked me into Scattaboo there, but I think the other thing that I've been doing more, man, Josh Allen following to me in round 4. like if you look at Josh Allen, like a lot of my work I'm doing is for redraft, right? And like Josh Allen, like every year, like his wins above replacement are really insane. And then his, if you look at the number of ESPN teams that have had him on playoff rosters, also it's like always like 58 to 60%. And even in BBM, like if over the last 4 years, like I think Josh Allen has been like 25% or somewhere right around there, like 3 out of 4 years. And so the question I do ask myself sometimes, I don't necessarily want to do it on a James Cook build. That's why I didn't bring him up here. But I do wonder, are we getting too cute? Because yes, like wide receivers can have a larger impact, right, on your advance rate. Like some of those guys, if you hit the right one, like JSN last year, you could be at like 40%, 35%, advance rate. And then I think about Josh Allen, though, and like the certainty of it that you're getting. Would you rather take the certainty of you're pretty sure you have a player that's got a really good shot of giving you a 25% advance rate, or the coin flip of maybe not even a coin flip, really, that you're getting one of those two wide receivers right, that you're taking at that turn spot? And so I have been taking more Josh Allen when he falls to me in round 4, and feeling pretty good about that. And like the back stacks for him are like so cheap. And even when I come away with Josh Allen naked, like I don't care. I'm just kind of like I don't feel like I have to force it. But I do think one of the keys I would tell people is don't force DJ Moore. If you take Josh Allen in round 4, don't feel like you have to. You can mix in DJ Moore because he could be part of your bet of how Josh somehow goes more nuclear in the pass game this year and the run game, which could break fantasy. So I think it's fine to make that bet, but I am actively also just passing DJ Moore many times when he falls back to me with Josh Allen doing something different.
Yeah, the Josh Allen thing, it's one of those things where I think in a vacuum, in a single draft, in the context of the quarterback ADP landscape, I don't like the pick. I just don't like the price relative to Jaydon and Jalen Hurts and some of those other Konami code quarterbacks going later. And yet, in the same way in previous years where everyone's pushing up wide receivers and it's like, can I build a really interesting, robust RB team? I like that challenge of, can I build a Josh Allen team that maybe typical Josh Allen drafters wouldn't build. And so I do like that angle, and I certainly want to have some of that.
Yeah, I mean, last year, 25% advance rate for Josh Allen. 2024, it was lower at 19%, so just barely above the 16. But the year before that, he was at 27%. And then in 2022, Josh Allen at 26%. So it's just the consistency of what you're getting. And I think people are just kind of burned by hasn't done it in the money weeks the last 2 years. But you could totally see a scenario, Pete, where Josh Allen's the guy you have to have, and he just goes nuclear over those 3 games. And so I want exposure, even though I think Josh Allen should be that expensive
right now. Dwayne, we're on the clock, and he is here.
Yes,
you like him? Okay,
yeah.
All right, let's grab naked Lamar. He falls to us at pick 59. So we have Lamar, we have Genti and Cook at running back, we have Ted Arroyo and Luther Burden at wide receiver. Here at 6'2". Best available by ADP, Brian Thomas, Jadarian Price, Tyler Warren. Then you're down to Marvin Harrison, your guy, Parker Washington. What looks good to you here?
Well, I really like the receivers that come back here. So I think this pick is Jadarian Price or Tyler Warren. You used to be able to get like Tony Pollard to fall back here, but he's quite often gone. And it's not like Tony Pollard's a sexy pick, but he's kind of at that line of pretty sure he's going to get at least 50% of the work, right, on his team. Could be more than that. So I just like getting Jadarian Price here. He's fallen here recently in drafts, so he's just been a guy that I've been getting more exposure to. Charbonnet might not be back, for 10 games. And by then, like if Jadarian Price is playing really well, Pete, it's like, how rushed are they going to feel to give Zach Charbonnet a role? And I think people are getting squeamish because they're hearing the George Halani stuff and everything like that. I'm just sorry. Like, spent a late round for round 1 pick. Like, they're going to give Jadarian Price enough work. I think the question is, will he be good enough? Will he be a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which was not ideal? But even then, like, as much as we thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a bust, like, he wasn't a bad pick in his rookie year, right? He still ended up, well, he was a bad pick because he got so steamed. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire that year, I want to say, like after the injury to Damian Williams or whoever it was at the time, like probably he got into late round 1 maybe of fantasy drafts his rookie season. So that was bad. But if you zoomed out and you got rid of the cost and you just look at a rookie running back, like it wasn't terrible for Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I wanted to ask you, so we did go Lamar and then grab Jadarian Price there. So we have the 3 running backs, Genty, Cook, Price. We got Lamar and then our 2 wide receivers, Ted Arroyo and Burden. We didn't get to talk a lot about Burden. I'm curious your thoughts. Clearly you're bullish on him, being willing to take him here at 38. My concerns for him have been like, I get a little bit of Jameson Williams vibes of like the highs are going to be really high, but there could be some bumps in the road. The target share could be a little bit erratic. He has to compete for targets with Colston Loveland, who potentially ascends here as a massive target earner. The flip side is I hear people talk about him like he could be more the Amon-Ra St. Brown in this offense as opposed to the JMO. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, so I think all of the Bears carry that risk that you're talking about. If you look at my personal ranks, Colston Loveland is the guy I have the highest, and I've been very willing to just take Loveland right there, which, kind of also differentiates the way your team's going to look. So, I mean, you could have talked me into Loveland very easily. The way I look at Burden is like, if he develops the second part of his game, right, which is non-gimmicky stuff, like I think he could easily, be the leader of the Bears because like he's the one that's going to get all of the easy targets, the screen stuff, all those kind of things. And if you look at him last year and take away the screens or the behind the line of scrimmage targets, like still had a really good targets per route run, yards per route run, all those things were there. And that also matches what we saw from him as a collegiate player. Yes, he got a lot of stuff on gimmicky things, but on the non-gimmick plays, he was also still good. So part of this is a bet on Ben Johnson, to your point, like just evolving his role. We know that they don't really have a good wide receiver 3 or 4 on their team. So it's mostly just going to be 2 receiver sets. So that's a good thing. Now, your tight end is Colston Loveland. So, I mean, that's essentially like that's having another receiver. It's not like a Mike McDaniel offense where it's like Durham Smythe, as your tight end. So I agree with the assessment, but I think that Burden probably does have the highest ceiling if he develops the second, part of his game, because he's going to get a lot of the freebies.
Sutton, Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison, Rico Dowdle, Godwin, Downs. A lot of wide receivers available here.
I'm going Godwin.
All right, let's pull up Godwin here to the top. Let's make these 2 picks, and then we can talk about Godwin in this wide receiver tier. I mean, with Lamar, we don't have to entertain any of the quarterbacks here. Dak, Herbert, Mahomes. We got stackouts later with Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield. So let's hone in on the wide receivers, or if you would entertain a guy like Rico, but it's going to be Sutton, Reed, Jordan Addison, Josh Downs in this range.
Yeah, I'm going Downs if he's
available. He just went.
He just went. Yeah. So I'm going Addison.
Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So talk Godwin and Addison here.
Yeah. So Godwin, like Sutton's fine, but Godwin, I just think the ceiling is so much higher, even though he's a veteran, because we've got Mike Evans leaving the offense. Cortland Sutton has Waddle joining the offense, and he's already been kind of okay, it's fine. Probably not winning us our league, but like he's going to give us plenty of usable weeks in best ball. When I look at Godwin and the potential role, right, with him moving to the slot, he's going to be healthy. I just see this as being a team where it could all easily channel through him and Egbuka. And I think there's a real chance Godwin's ends up being the way better pick than Egbuka. I like Egbuka, but just Godwin's so much cheaper. And so I think this is an offense right now until someone else proves something. Kate Otton's not doing it. We don't know what Ted Hurst is going to be. Jalen McMillan has some nice things, but I think it's very easy to see a path where it's really these 2 guys. And Baker Mayfield, as up and down as he can be, we know that he's capable of a spike season. He's the kind of guy that's willing to push the ball into tight coverage, the sort of things that you need to be willing to do to honestly beat today's defenses. You have to be willing to take some risk. And Baker's certainly willing to do that. Baker was also playing through a ton of injuries last year, as was Godwin, really trying to get recovered, from his injury the year before. So I just really like Godwin. I just think you make it pretty simple. Mike Evans leaves. Egbuka, we really like him, but he trailed off at the end of last year. There's a real chance Chris Godwin's the wide receiver 1 for the Bucs this year. And then Addison is just a bet on really Kevin O'Connell having a good enough quarterback and Kyler Murray, right? Just to get that thing back on track. Every year that we've had Kevin O'Connell, other than the JJ McCarthy year, you've been pretty happy with all the weapons. Obviously, Justin Jefferson is the prize that everybody wants, but Addison, I have no concerns. Pete, he's going to be out there 90% of the plays, right? He can hit the plays down the field.
I feel like my concern is that when it was just him and Jefferson, he would have these games almost a la T. Higgins or some of these other jacked up wide receiver twos, Devontae Smith alongside AJ Brown, where he'd have 8-9 targets. I'm worried, like, could he land in the 5 to 6 target range with Jawan Jennings stepping into a bigger role? And then it's a way more boom bust vertical profile than like that solid number 2. That's my fear.
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible. And like whenever Jawan Jennings joined the team as a viable wide receiver 3, I brought the targets per route run down for Jordan Addison, but he still projects as a player that I really like in this range. And the way I think about it is I just look at the offense, for the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell. And then now we hopefully are getting away from JJ McCarthy. I just think the ceiling, right, of the overall offense could still be really strong. Now, to your point, I'm not flag planting Jordan Addison. I think there's multiple guys there that are fine taking. Josh Downs would have been my preference, right, if he was available. Hearing that he's probably playing right in the 2 wide receiver sets is the big thing we want for Downs. Hopefully Keenan does not sign there. Keenan is like the ultimate blocker.
Yes, that would be the ultimate troll. We're on the clock. Huge fall for Michael Wilson here.
Yeah. I would just take Michael Wilson at this point. Yes.
I'm with you. Like, he hasn't been a guy I've been running to the podium to select, but
I have like 3%. But yes,
oh, sorry. I was just going to say we got sniped on Kyler. So that was not a must with Addison, but something to consider. What else do you see here at 10-2?
Well, it's really, do you want to get Baker to go with Godwin, or do you want to take one of these guys if Gainwell comes back around the corner as your running back for? And people have been letting the quarterback slide. Sometimes you get a crazy value on these quarterbacks now. Early on, it was really hard. Everybody was just taking the quarterbacks in the pocket.
Well, let's go Gainwell. You like Gainwell?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And I think the other thing is, like, we've got some interesting quarterbacks we can still target that have back stacks. So yeah, I'm good. Hopefully Mark Andrews comes back.
Yes, that would be nice. We have the 1-4-5-0. Having Lamar there gives us some pretty good leeway to push quarterback. So I like that we didn't force the issue there. Like, taking Baker over Bo Nix doesn't feel good to me. We grab Gainwell, another Tampa piece that maybe increases the chances that it comes back. Yes, that it comes back. And so we go Michael Wilson there as the
Aguka drafters on the other side of us.
Correct. So that could help us out. We have the 1-4-5-0, Lamar at quarterback, really solid running back room, Genty, Cook, Jadarian Price, Kenny Gainwell, and then the 5 wide receivers, Ted Arroyo, Luther Burden, Godwin, Addison, Wilson. We're clearly headed toward a punt tight end build here. Have you been balancing kind of your elite tight end builds in punts?
Yep, I have. I like the elite tight end builds. I like the punt builds as well. But I do think there's a really good pocket. It's gotten a little harder here recently. Used to, round 11 was like the crazy round where all these tight ends would fall back to you. Now it's just kind of like they may or they may not. But it used to be pretty easy to get Andrews to fall back to you in this range. It's gotten a little bit tougher here in recent drafts. But I feel pretty comfortable just taking 3 tight ends later. I think there are plenty of options to choose from. Eventually, we're going to get squeezed somewhere with tight end and quarterback.
Yeah.
But getting Gainwell gives us a ton of flexibility now at running back because we've got the 4. Yeah. I think we waited a little bit. We took the 2 running backs to start, and then we really pounded receiver. So I feel like we're pretty flexible here.
What is your line at quarterback? That's always kind of the question of how far are you willing to push it with these starters? Do you dabble in Geno? Do you deal with the Carson Beck end of year stuff with Jacoby? Do you pick a horse in the Atlanta race?
All depends on how I've built, man. I would rather not be messing with the Atlanta stuff. I would rather not be messing with Geno, but in a build like this where potentially other values fall to you and you're like, well, this is just the way this specific team, this ended up being really the best way to build the team. So I would say the line though of where I really would rather have 2 is probably Daniel Jones, as my 2. And so, I mean, like, and then you've got Darnold, Stroud, Ward, all those guys are in that range for me. I will say also, like, Aaron Rodgers, like I've drafted quite a bit of just because I'm pretty confident he's starting all 17 games if he's not hurt. And he's the one that's really the cheapest, because then you get to Geno, especially now with the legal stuff. It's like
we're on the clock, Dwayne. We lost out on Andrews and Mayfield. You could go Malik Willis, naked quarterback. We could grab Jake Ferguson as our first tight end. What do you think?
I like Malik Willis. Just go ahead and, well, I guess who is?
Let's grab Willis.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I grabbed Willis, and then Emo had a question in here about the Miami offense we can get to in a second, but let's make sure we get this pick in at 12-2. If you want to go tight end, Ferguson and Goddard are here. Coker is also in the mix. What do you think?
Yeah, so I honestly like Goddard over Ferguson.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep. So with Goddard, I mean, it's just, again, like with A.J. Brown gone, like it's good for really everyone. I know they added Mekhi Lemon, but Mekhi Lemon's not going to have a 32% target share. Right. Let's say he comes in and he's great as a rookie. Well, he'll have like a 24 or a 25. So that still means that there's targets up for grab for these other guys. And when you look at Goddard, like in these last, and I just limit it to the last 3 years, because like Goddard, he's getting older. So you don't want to like go back, too far, but just looking whenever he hasn't had like another really high end target earner on the field, like he's still been really good. And his main thing is just injuries. Like he battles a lot of injuries throughout the seasons, but I think Goddard is like pretty locked in, even with Stowers there, to I think a 75 to 85% route rate. I think they're going to run more 12, but I don't think that necessarily means that comes at the cost of Goddard, right? I think that comes at we're going to get Stowers on the field and take Wicks off, right? Or Mekhi Lemon off. I think Dallas Goedert in this season, I think is pretty safe to have a strong role in an offense that we like.
So what we did there at the previous turn, we went Wilson and Gainwell. We hoped Mayfield and or Andrews would come back, and a troll from the 3-hole, Yannick, took both of them. So we did pivot there, taking Malik Willis and Goddard. We get our first tight end. We also shore up that quarterback 2 spot. Curious your thoughts here now that we took Malik Willis. Emo had asked, is there any hope for Miami? Are they destined to be one of the worst offenses in the league because of Willis, no wide receivers in a defense, and poor head coach? Or is this a Buck Seattle type of upside bet that we're too low on?
I don't think it has the same kind of upside. They just don't have the receivers for it. I think the offensive staff, right, is decent. This is honestly, it's just a pure bet on a guy that, runs around a lot, right? And you hope you just get enough efficiency in the passing game. They're not a team I'm trying to target as being something where I think the overall offense surprises. They're one of the reasons I don't have as much Devon Achane, right? I mix Achane in for sure because like he has the profile, the dual threat receiving profile that we want. But outside of that, I don't think that this is an offense that I'm crazy about. I've got him projected as one of the bottom 3 as far as over at Fantasy Life. But I do think Malik Willis, like just the dual threat profile, like it's still enough. I don't think Malik Willis is even going to be a top 12 quarterback this year, but I think he could easily be like 15 or 16.
Yep. All right. Here's the deal, Dwayne. We got the 2-4-5-1 cooking. We got people trying to float collusion in the chat. Bezig says, I'll give someone a sub if they let, I assume this beats Hunter Henry fall to me. Good luck with that cause, Bezigs. We are about to pick here, though, at the end of the 13th round. We have a 2-4-5-1. Dwayne, would we grab Bryce Young as our third quarterback here with Ted Arroyo, or do you like the idea of rocking with just Lamar and Malik Willis?
I'm willing to go 3 with Willis as our 2 and with us having Tet. I'm just looking at what tight ends are available.
We're in the Brenton Strange, Jawan Johnson, Kenyon Sadiq, TJ Hawkins.
I like Sadiq.
Yep.
Sadiq's my favorite tight end of the group.
The draft,
I think I would grab him.
Sadiq first.
Yeah, I don't think the drafter behind us is taking Bryce, and if he does, it's like whatever. I think you get the upside play for the potential late season hammer with the young tight end.
Yeah, let's grab Sadiq here to pair with Goddard, and then we'll see what the turn does. By ADP, we have Jawan Jennings as the slight faller. I think if we had Kyler, that would have been pretty intriguing with Addison, but otherwise, I do think it's Bryce Young here. I kind of like the third quarterback.
I agree.
All right. So now we have Bryce Young to Ted Arroyo. We have naked Malik Willis, naked Lamar Jackson. Does that make you queasy? Do we look for one of the wide receiver 2 flyers on the Ravens here at the end of the draft?
Yeah, I think it's either Bateman or Sarratt.
Yep.
Sarratt is the biggest ceiling. You know, I think there's a real chance the Ravens this year run quite a bit more 3 wide receiver stuff. And the reason why is just looking at their depth chart, right? You got Mark Andrews. You don't have, Charlie Kolar anymore. You don't have Isaiah Likely. And so when you just look at like the build of their tight end room, it's not that the receiver room is great either. You really have Zay Flowers, and then I don't know. But I think there's the real potential with them. They drafted Jacoby Lane as well as Elijah Sarratt. And you look at how weak the tight end room is. I think we could see more 3 wide receiver stuff than what we're used to from the Ravens with Declan Doyle running that offense.
We do have some fun Week 17 correlations brewing here. We have the Carolina stack with the Jadarian Price bring back with Seattle. We do have the Buffalo piece there with James Cook opposite Malik Willis.
Yeah, Dulcich is in play as a tight end 3 on this team.
For sure. That's been my preferred way to play the Malik Willis if you are doing any stacking. And then Minnesota, we get a little bit there with Jordan Addison and Sadiq there. Yeah.
Yep.
So 3-4-5-2, Dwain. The 3 quarterbacks looking good. Lamar, Malik Willis, Bryce Young. 4 running backs, including 3 early, Genty, Cook, Price, and then Gainwell. That's looking nice. 5 wide receivers, Ted Arroyo, Burden, Godwin, Addison, Michael Wilson, and 2 tight ends, Goddard, Sadiq. I think pretty balanced build and still a nice mix of floor and upside at wide receiver and tight end that we kind of pushed a bit.
Yeah, I like the way this team's worked out, and I've never felt like we've been super squeezed, right? We felt pretty comfortable, in my opinion, like across each one of these. We never really hit like a log jam scenario where it's like, we really need these 3 things and we can only pick 2 of them.
Sure.
So I like the way this team has worked out. Honestly, some of my teams that end up being better are the ones where I do get forced into those scenarios. Yeah. And you look back and you felt like it was kind of weak or sketchy, and like that's the team that does really well. And some of the teams where you felt more comfortable, it didn't necessarily work out. But I still would prefer to feel like comfortable with the way the draft is working, where it's really tough for you to get like snapped, in a way where it's like, oh my God, everything's hinging on these 1 or 2 players. I never felt that way in this draft.
So we have 4 more picks, 15, 16, 17, 18, balanced build, 3-4-5-2. We're done at quarterback. We're definitely adding another tight end, definitely adding a couple more wide receivers. And then we're going to have a luxury pick. I'll put some stuff in the queue here. Dulcich is coming up boards a little bit, ADP 182. Might want to consider him here if we do want that stack. Are there any other names that really jump out to you with these wide receiver flyers?
Well, I think Judy's going to have routes. And so I think it's probably wide receiver, tight end here.
Yeah.
Or it could be wide receiver, wide receiver.
What wide receiver do you like?
Well, I'm also like, who's the one that's fallen the furthest? It's kind of hard for me to see the screen.
Trey Harris, Zachariah Branch, Aiyuk, Jeremy Bernard, Ridley. We're going to get Dulcich here first. The guy behind us has 6 wide receivers, so we should be fine to still get our preference here.
All right, cool.
You can, so he goes Trey Harris and Gunnar Helm. So Branch, Aiyuk, Jeremy, Calvin Ridley, Malik Washington, Dell, Wicks, Hurst. I
really like Bernard.
Let's do it.
Yeah, unless you're into the Aiyuk thing, which I mix him in. But I was drafting him more early. I really chilled out, and now I've started mixing him back in again some. It's just like it's so crazy. Being away from the game for 2 years. Like I will say this, like if he signs with the Commanders, how far, I'll ask you, how much further do you think Aiyuk climbs if he signs with the Commanders?
I think he climbs a good bit. I think him signing to the Commanders removes multiple things that are keeping his price down, right? There's people talk about Antonio Brown, like this guy's crashing out. It's like, okay, he's now actually on a team. Like we haven't seen him play, and he's on a team he wants to go to. People are excited about the Commanders offense. We're pushing up Antonio Williams. We're desperate for pass catchers to stack with Jaden Daniels. I think if you remove the ambiguity of where he's playing, you remove the ambiguity that he's not hurt, that he's ready to go, he's showing up to training camp. I mean, this guy could soar up to round 9, round 10 over the course of a month and a half, 2 months, if we have that ADP runway. I really do think he could steam hard.
Yeah. So that's the argument for mixing him in, right? We don't know. He should theoretically still be able to play. He's in his prime, of his career, but we also, he has been away from the game. There are mental health concerns for me at this point with Brandon Aiyuk. Like, how bought in is he going to be? I think it could be he just wants to prove everything. We don't know. But also there is the fact that you played for the 49ers, and the 49ers, they boost everything, right? They make everyone's yards per route run, targets per route run, fantasy points, period. All those things look really good. And so like my gut was round 11, but man, if even that like would make him a massive value where you're getting him on closing line value. But I could also see a scenario where, to your point, he might get to round 9 or 10. Because you could, if you look at the names that go in round 9 or 10, I could easily see Aiyuk going next to those.
Let's figure out our in-game here, and then I do want to circle back to Jeremy Bernard. We did take him as our wide receiver 6. We added Dulcich as our tight end 3. We have a 3-4-6-3 done at quarterback for sure. Probably done at tight end unless you like getting frisky there. We mentioned a potential Baltimore wide receiver 2 selection. Do you think we go 8 wide receivers, or do we try to find a 5th running back as well?
Yeah, it's either going to be 1 running back and 1 receiver or 2 receivers. I have done some 4 RB builds, and this would be one that would qualify for it, in my opinion, with the guys that we were able to get. One of my favorite last round picks right now is Tyquan Thornton. Stephon Diggs is obviously like the potential fly in the ointment for him. But I will say Thornton right now projecting as somebody that's on the field most of the time with Patrick Mahomes. Like I like that. If you want the ceiling case for a Raven, I think it's Sarratt. If you want they're probably going to be out there 65% of the time, it's probably Rashad Bateman. So I think it just comes down to how you feel about it.
Can I ask you, can I interest you in any Jaydon Blue? I've been trying to pack some bags.
Yeah. Yep. I've been taking Jaydon Blue as well. I do like him. I will say Braylon Allen would be another one that we potentially
went.
Did he go? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking back to some of the potential stack stuff for 17 because we do have Addison.
Yeah. I grabbed Blue there as the clock went down as our
that's good.
running back
I like it.
5. And then I'll look. So this kind of comes down to who do you like more?
I think this is Sarratt or Bateman. And I mean, like if you're trying to make the big swing, I think it's Sarratt. If you just want the player you think that's going to be playing to start the season and has a chance to keep the job, it's Bateman. If you just want the best pick on the board, I think it's probably Thornton.
Give me your pick. We got all 3 here. Which one is your favorite?
Let's go with Sarratt.
Let's do it. Yeah, I should probably sprinkle in some Bateman. I guess if we had more time to discuss, I would go, all right, this is the wide receiver room. Ted Arroyo, Luther Burden, Godwin, Addison, Michael Wilson, Jeremy Bernard. Do we need to skew that final pick to the upside or skew it to the early season target volume?
Yeah. And I think on this particular team, I think we had enough flexibility with Wilson falling to us as our 5th to really go either way.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So if you think about Lamar Jackson, right, his biggest spike seasons where he's had 2, where he absolutely broke fantasy football, it was via his passing game. Right. It was whenever he had the massive eruption on touchdowns per attempt and all those things through the air. His baseline run game is typically there, which we know it's going to be a little less this year. Like it already came down last year, and they're saying they're not going to run Lamar as much this year. But we know it's still going to be a huge part of their game plan because they want defenses to have to respect it. And that's ultimately what opens up things for all of these other players is the worry that defensive coordinators have to have about Lamar. But I think if you're painting the ceiling case of how Lamar Jackson has an absolute crush season, it probably comes through one of these rookies absolutely surprising. And so that's where I like the Sarratt pick. Like one of the best prospect profiles as far as just production rating, right? Which adjusts for age, competition, all that stuff. And so I like the idea of Sarratt. We've also been hearing that he's working from the slot. So if they do go to more 3 wide receiver sets, I think that would easily put him, in a spot where even if he's not as ready as Bateman, could still be outperforming him because he's going to get the better matchups than what Bateman's going to be getting on the outside. I also think there's a really good chance Bateman just gets locked into this vertical role, whereas Sarratt, I think, could also still do the possession, even though he was great down the field in college. If they're going to put him in the slot, obviously he's not just going to be a deep threat.
Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up here Dwain's rookie supermodel. Sarratt was a guy throughout the entire pre-draft process. You're looking at, mock draft data, and he is the one who stood out as far as his production profile.
Sort that production rating.
Yeah, let's look at this production rating here. You will see him rocket up ahead of Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate here, Dwain.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And the big thing people talk about with Sarratt is too many contested targets. But if you go back and historically look at the guys that had a lot of contested targets, they haven't been misses in fantasy football. And some of that can just come down to, well, maybe they can't get open. That could be part of it, right? But it also could just be your quarterback just trusts you, period. And they're just like, I don't care who's covering you. That can be a good thing. That's a good sign, right? A quarterback playing college football probably knows more than any of us fantasy nerds, even in our 40s, know.
So,
I mean,
Dwain,
if you've made it to that level,
people want to talk about Baltimore's wide receivers because there's comments about Jacoby Lane. There are comments about Rashad Bateman. And now we got comments about Tez Walker, who I feel like I've seen enough personally. I mean, you've made the case for Sarratt or Bateman. Do you have any interest in those other guys?
I do mix them in. I will say, like, as much as I like Sarratt over Lane, the Ravens took Lane over Sarratt, so I don't think it's something where if you're wanting to do the last round stack with Lamar, you should do Sarratt every time. I think it's something that you want to mix up, but I would definitely lean to Sarratt, right? Being the one that I like the most. Bateman's been the one I've done the second most, and then Lane is the one I think I've done like once or twice. As far as Walker, like the reports from minicamp and everything are good, but that's pretty typical, Pete, for like the guy that's been in the league is working ahead of the younger guys. If you're trying to paint like the bear case, I mean, it's a round 3 and a round 4 rookie wide receiver pick with Lane and Sarratt, and very often those don't do anything in year 1. So there is a real potential like for a 0 with one of those players. But I think the way our team ended up being built and we don't have other quarterbacks with great stack options, we do have it with Bryce, but obviously the ceiling we feel is pretty low with Bryce. I think, it makes more sense then to tack on a Sarratt. If we had Baker with Godwin and Gainwell, then maybe we would have switched that pick, right? To maybe just go Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here in the supermodel, this is not sorted by production. It's just sorted by overall score. Sarratt at 9 with a score of 73. You have Jacoby Lane, score of 72. He's down at 12, but this is a very close bunch. This normalizes for that draft selection. I am curious with your model, is there anything in there that even specifies within team preference? Because that would also be interesting to know if there's any stickiness to the order of which a team selects a player.
Yeah, I've gone back and looked at it, and it's just so tough because we don't have tons of examples of it, right? It's not like we have a data sample big enough to say that, this is always how this works out. I basically just at that point lean into the player that I think was the better collegiate player. And I just kind of let the chips fall where they may, because like round 3 and round 4, the difference in the draft capital value, not just the draft pick alone, because things really flatten out once you get to that range of the draft as to how important draft capital is. I just really tend to lean, and that's why we make the model. The model's there to actually figure that out, right? That's why we do it. And so my thought process on it is like, if I'm not going to take Elijah Sarratt, like what the hell am I doing with my life? Like, why am I creating the rookie supermodel?
Why am I doing it?
I mean, because if not, I should stop. Honestly, I should just stop doing it. Now, I acknowledge that it shouldn't be like 80% to 20%. Maybe it's more 60-40. I'm probably more of a 70-30 kind of person when it comes to Sarratt and Jacoby Lane. But yeah, Lane could be the guy that outperforms him. But in my opinion, like that's the whole reason, not in my opinion, it's like, that's why I made the rookie supermodel, was to help with those sort of decisions.
All right, Dwain, we're going to recap this team here. 3-5-7-3, Lamar Jackson, Malik Willis, Bryce Young, 5 running backs, Ashton Genty, James Cook, Jadarian Price, Kenny Gainwell, Jaydon Blue. We got to 7 wide receivers here: Ted Arroyo, McMillan, Luther Burden, Chris Godwin, Jordan Addison, Michael Wilson, Jeremy Bernard, and yes, Elijah Sarratt. And then 3 tight ends: Goddard, Sadiq, Dulcich. I like this one, Dwain. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I do like the team. I do think what's nice, I do believe our biggest questions as far as like, could we have gone another way, are mostly at the tail end of the draft. And that's really where like things can go anywhere. So I usually like when I look back at my draft and think, oh, my biggest selection question mark was like in my last 3 rounds. Yeah, I feel really good, and we could have gone like another way than Jordan Addison. Like had Downs been there, like we would have obviously taken him. But you could have made a case like for Cortland Sutton there, as well, versus Addison. But I think those guys were all really close, like in that tier of wide receivers.
Yeah, I saw one comment earlier. This always comes up of like, okay, you have Lamar and Malik Willis. Why go Bryce Young here? One thing that I've noticed is like we were clearly tracking for a quote unquote luxury pick. We were building balanced. We were going to kind of have the ability to tack on an 8th wide receiver, a 6th running back or whatever. In hindsight, I always like when I make a correlated bet at value at that 3rd quarterback spot. And we have anchored our wide receiver room to Teteroya McMillan. If Teteroya McMillan is a league-winning smash from that price, Bryce Young is going to have a good season. And giving us those additional stackouts, the way the gauntlet works through the Best Ball Mania playoffs, having the chance for a Bryce Young Teteroya week to propel us to the top of the pod, 15, 16, 17, I don't want to pass up on that at cost.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, I think where people are getting a little bit like where it's tough with the quarterback stuff, and it's loosened here lately. And I think the market is actually, I don't know if it's from boredom, right? Because people get tired of drafting the same teams over and over. They're allowing some of these quarterbacks to fall in that window. But we were also giving ourselves a chance for Baker, right, to fall back to us. And I think that ultimately ended up like, had we gotten Baker, right, as the QB2, we might not have done that. Right. Yep. That might have also changed our logic and how we handled the QB room. But I'm with you. Whenever it gets to that point that you've waited, you've been balanced, like making the pick that makes the most sense for your team. But I do agree that we don't have to have all these 3 quarterback builds. Yep. I'll say this, Pete. If I draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 9 rounds, I'm not drafting a 3rd. Right. I mean, unless it's like something that is really crazy falls, right? And to your point, it makes sense. It's correlated. It does all these other things. But I think it's fine if you're taking 1 quarterback in like the first 9 rounds, then you're tacking on someone else between like 10 and 12. I on those builds, I feel I kind of like having the 3 quarterback builds, period. But whenever you can do it this way, like you mentioned, with all the correlation and everything, I think it just makes that much more sense.
For sure. And there's been, like, I would say a situation you just described. Say you have those 2 quarterbacks. I don't know. Say you grab Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. And it's like you also have Bowers on that team. There's some random drafts where Mendoza slides 30 picks past ADP. And it's like, okay, do I need it by pure draft capital spent at the position? No, but this is a value that's correlated and gives me the stacking dynamics that are really important. And someone saying, where's Mike Leone when you need him? He's literally done research on how the 3 quarterback builds are optimal in the Best Ball Mania format, specifically where you do have to finish at the top of these pods, and specifically in week 17. So I do agree with you.
Especially Best Ball Mania. Not as much for like some of these other formats where you've got to advance, like your first round pod is 1 of 6, right? Yeah. I think that kind of changes things. But in a situation like this, yes. I mean, getting through your pods like that, it's insane, like what it takes, in Best Ball Mania. So I'm with you. And to your point, like the Sims do like the 3 quarterbacks, and we saw that play out last year, right? In the results for Best Ball Mania, right? And the teams that were advancing through the pods.
Yep. This is a fun question before you leave, Dwain. We've obviously been doing this on the Fantasy Life show. It's always a fun content topic. Who is this year's JSN? Greg mentions he's seen Ladd, he's seen Devontae, he's heard Roma Dunze. Are you willing to flag plant a JSN level breakout for 2026?
Yeah, so JSN was my flag plant last year. He was my most drafted wide receiver in the first 5 rounds of fantasy drafts. And so I don't have a player that I feel as strongly as I did about JSN last year. But if I had to pick one of those, I do think Devontae Smith, right, is the easy answer. He's already been a really good player. He's proven it. He had to play next to an absolute alpha. Do I think he's going to get a 32% target share like AJ Brown did? No, But do I think he could be like 28, 29% in an offense with a new offensive coordinator with Sean Mannion? We're going to get more motion. We're going to get more stacking. We're going to get more creativity. The Eagles have essentially put Jalen Hurts, who's basically like shunned that stuff in the past. They've put him on notice. Like they've called him out in public for all these things. They've shifted the dynamic to really say, we're going to run the offense the way we want Jalen Hurts. And I think that's going to be a positive also for Devontae Smith. So if I had to pick one, I do think that is Smith. I do hear the folks that get concerned about the size stuff. Mostly I think size is overrated, but I will say, like, for someone that we think, Pete, that could have, 170 targets, that kind of thing, I do think it can start to play a little bit of a role. So that's why I'm not like all in on Devontae Smith. I take him a ton. He's one of my more drafted wide receivers. I just can't give him the same stamp that I gave JSN last year. But that's who I would pick. All the names that you had there are viable options, right? Ladd's viable, Mecca Buka's viable, Luther Burden's viable. Who am I leaving off? There's one more receiver. Anyway, so those are all good, but I would pick Devontae Smith, and I think the market obviously has that right with where he's going right now in drafts.
All right, guys, Dwain McFarland over at Fantasy Life, the man behind the supermodel. He's updating the ranks, updating the projections. And I dropped this in the chat earlier. I'm going to do it again. We have a few different new YouTube channels at Fantasy Life. We, of course, have the Fantasy Life show. I've been doing regular shows with Kendall over there. I'm actually going to be going to doing 3 shows a week starting in July with Kendall. We'll get Cooter Doodle back in the mix. That's the Fantasy Life show. Dwain has started another YouTube here called Fantasy Football is Life. How would you describe what's going to happen on this channel compared to the others?
Yeah, so this is just, where we're going more into the nitty gritty, right? This is more like for the hardcore fantasy players. So if you're drafting hundreds of best ball teams, like this is going to be the channel for you. And this is where we're going to be debating a lot of those things. So I'll still be joining the Fantasy Life show, here and there, like to come on and talk about different things. The idea for this channel is to truly, and we can do more long form. Right. So if we want to go 90 minutes, we need to go 2 hours. We can absolutely do that on the Fantasy Football is Live channel. And that's also where we'll post a lot of there will be some shorter videos as well there, Pete. But they'll be, probably more data centric. Also, that's where you'll find Talk Data to Me, which is, I haven't been doing it as much lately because we got a lot of other stuff going on in the back end that we're working on, guys, over at Fantasy Life. But, I would say nerd. That would be the best way to describe Fantasy Football's Life is nerd. Like if you really just want to nerd out.
There you go. So check it out. I dropped that in the chat. I'll put it in the show notes as well. Like I said, we got a few different channels up now on Fantasy Life. Fantasy Football is Life, the Fantasy Football or Fantasy Life show. We got the Chop Guillotine Leagues as well. We're going to be ramping up content over there as the guillotine season kicks in. It's going to be a good summer over at Fantasy Life. Dwain, appreciate you. Anything else on your way out before we bring on Adam Levitan?
No, man, appreciate you having me on. Guys, a lot of content's going to be hitting over the next several weeks. So quarterback stuff's coming, then it'll be running back, receiver, tight end. I'll be evaluating, okay, like where really are the edges? Where were the edges before? How's the market adjusted? Have they erased those edges? Are there potential new edges, right, that we're not paying attention to, that are not 100% getting captured by ADP? So I'll be breaking down like what things matter the most for each position historically, what things might matter more now, also trying to kind of guess what things may matter more in the future. Then we'll have quarterback tiers, and then we will do league winners for each position over the next 4 weeks. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, all over at fantasylife.com.
Beautiful. All right, Dwain, I will catch you around. We'll do this again, maybe near the start of the summer. Also due for our annual After Dark as well. Good seeing you, man.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Here he is. Welcome back to the show.
Okay. I got a lot of getting off my chest here. 1 second. First of all, are you guys aware that Peter doesn't have an iPhone, and so I'm communicating with him in this fucking green text? I mean, what in the world is going on? And then he says, okay, I think we're good now. And then he tells me this morning, I said, listen, and I don't want to draft with you if you're not going to use the Q. I said, why don't we draft against each other? I can use the Q method, the correct method, and you can use get on the clock and panic method. And we'll see who wins. The rest of the summer, we can just have all these drafts and we'll do battleship method. If any of you guys played poker, remember the PCA, you would have this heads up duel where you would sit across from each other but playing on computers, playing against each other. This is a great idea. Then this morning he says, hey, sign up for a BBM and I'll get in there. And then we'll be able to do it together. So right before this, he says, sign up, sign up, sign up. I sign up and it fails and he's not in there. So now I'd sign up for another one. So he's cost me $25 here this morning. I'm auto drafting on one screen and I'm in on another screen here. And he's texting me in fucking green text. I mean, what is going on?
Do you know what? All this after you said that, do you know this gift that I was going to give you today? I was going to capitulate. I am right now in real time. I was going to debut a new layout just for you. And you even ruined it because you texted me and you're like, I'm just drafting against you. I don't even want to draft with you anymore. And I just want you to feel like a royal piece of shit because right now I am debuting a new overlay just for you, Adam. You see this? You see what we're working with here?
There. Does that make sense? We're here to fucking show the solver. Now we can see the solver. By the way, 20% off solver, promo code Pete. You can see it. You can see how the solver works now. Jesus Christ, of course.
Here you go. So 2 things have happened. A new overlay is debuted because this is true capitulation. This is like Silva capitulating to Leone's numbers. I capitulated to Adam's temper tantrum. And how does he repay me? By saying, fuck you, I don't want to draft with you. We'll draft head to head.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to draft with you. Maybe you can ask the chat. What is more likely to be a winning method? The Q method or the wait to get on the clock and panic method? Those are really the 2 methods we're talking about here. You either star your players or you get on the clock and you panic.
Well, guess what? You can star your own players. You can star your own players in 2 fucking drafts that you're in right now.
I'm into who's ever in the other one, who's ever in the previous other one, I'm auto drafting. Enjoy my 25.
Someone says, no matter how small you make it, I can still see Levitan's forehead veins throbbing.
By the way, I don't know if I'm sure you didn't catch this, but I went and did, Herzig does a stream every Thursday for us on the ETR channel. And I did it with him. And he also wasn't using the Q method. And I had to tee off on him.
Dude, it's because you don't get it. You're an amateur streamer. It's a billboard for people to snipe you. You need to step up your game, get some solo stream reps in, just like I have to tell all these touts in my contest. You have not cut your teeth in this arena, Adam.
If people want to snipe me in the $25 fucking lotto, we're doing this for content. I can live with it. You know what I mean? The Q method.
Wait, no. You can't have it both ways. Either this is a lotto we're doing for content and you don't care that every pick is perfect, or every pick has to be fucking perfect.
We were doing a 500 last time, not a 25. I wouldn't have fucking had a heart attack if it was a 25. We were doing the 500, and I was going to send you 250, and now I'm not.
So now this is the spot you put me in as host. Now I have to recap my team. I have to recap your team, and I have to recap the other team you're auto drafting right now.
Exactly.
Okay. So here's the deal. Adam started from the, what are you in the 8 spot? You took CMC. Mm-hmm. I'm drafting here from the 10 spot. I took CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go ahead and grab Omari and Hampton here first. CMC, what's the latest? You got any sources in San Francisco? What are we hearing about CMC this year?
In regards to what? That everybody assumes he's just, because he had a lot of touches last year, that he has no legs anymore. Actually, I don't know if you heard, because he had 400 touches last year and not 399, or actually whatever the number is, not 369 or not 349, but exactly this number over the threshold. In that situation, oh, I love this old start. I mean, just go total boomtown.
How good does it feel to be on the sticks for yourself right now, Adam?
Oh man, this is just the way it has to be. And the rest of the summer, it's just the way it has to be.
The thing that would be hilarious is if we did do a draft together where you share your screen. I just am terrified to see what you even sharing your screen looks like. I guarantee you won't be able to size it correctly.
That's why we have producers. Look, Maybe ETR's profits are down because I have to have a million tech lords. You do all this yourself. You know what I mean? But that's fine. We can live with that. You know what I mean? To get it right.
How is the golf, the charity golf event?
Oh man, don't get me started on that.
I want to get you started on it.
I mean, I'll just say this, and I don't mean to insult anyone, but if you can take 6 hours out of your day on a weekday to play golf, you don't have a real job. I'm sorry. You don't have, you have anyone who has any semblance of a job cannot be a golfer. You're talking about 6 hours in the middle of the day during work day. You're just not a grinder. You're just not a grinder. You know,
did you hear that? CSU Ram 88?
Yeah, not a grinder anymore. It's too rich. He's no longer man of the people.
Incredible. I did see him. Someone had sent me a screenshot. One of my buddies' friends had done well in some showdown NBA contest on DraftKings, like in the NBA finals. And Jennings was still in the screenshot. I'm like, this guy's still ripping off showdown NBA lineups. He is sick. He is sick. Of all of these older guys, you start McCaffrey and Henry, you know, let's include, you know, Barkley. We can even do the Jacobs. Obviously, there's additional risk there. Which of these veteran running backs who have basically crushed the past couple of years are you most worried about the age cliff hitting them just having the season where the wheels fall off?
Yeah, I think when it goes bad for Derrick Henry, it's going to go really bad because of the pass catching. Like he doesn't catch passes and he relies on big plays. So many like 20+ yard runs. When it goes bad for Henry, it's going to go bad. It's just hard for me to see that it's going to go bad. Like he just seems to be in incredible shape year after year. And even the underlying metrics on Henry are still really, really good. So, you know, you're talking to me. I forgot to set up my cue. 1 second here.
It's almost like there's a lot of things to juggle when you draft, and it's maybe nice to have someone else on the sticks who's capable of juggling it all for you.
Yeah, well, me being on the sticks while you talk, maybe that's the more ideal setup. You know what I mean?
I think the ideal setup is you and I break up and you just draft by yourself and I just draft by myself and we maintain our friendship.
No, what about that? We'll draft on my screen, my account, and you can just talk the whole time and I'll draft. And you can make commentary, over my draft as I draft.
Why don't you just send me a recording of your draft and then I'll do commentary on it after the fact? We don't even need to do it at the same time.
Exactly. Perfect.
All right. I took Garrett Wilson in the 3rd round. Adam, you took Kyren Williams. Is this because you saw the photo of Sean McVay over the weekend with his wife with a 6-pack and you just want a piece of that offense?
Yeah, I've been experimenting with some of these super running back heavy starts also. But yeah, one of my favorite tweets of all time was before the first Rams Super Bowl. And it's like Sean McVay looking like a nerd in high school. And then Sean McVay with this like outrageous like Scandinavian supermodel or whatever she is. And it said like Sean McVay before the sex versus Sean McVay after the sex.
Hey, it's me on the clock. You don't have to worry about me. I don't even have the star method. The clock is ticking. I'm not even panicking. You want to know why? Because I have solver suggestions here. And solver says to pair CeeDee Lamb with Javonte Williams. I get the click in. We got to look at Sean McVay's wife while I was on the clock. You can have it all in this life, Adam.
If you can actually see the board and the solver recommendation, yes, you can. You're right. You can have it all.
Promo code Pete at the solver. You can get the suggestions in here. You can manage your portfolio with this widget here. See your combinatorial ownership. I do have a lot of CeeDee Lamb and Javonte Williams teams together, so I'll keep an eye out on 66.7% of my Lamb and Javonte teams include Bucky Irving, so I will watch for that. But Adam, you went ahead and grabbed Emeka Egbuka after Kyren Williams in the 3rd.
Yeah, I think, obviously when you start running back, you need like immediate wide receiver production. Like even if Malik Neighbors got to me, I couldn't really take that. So yeah, obviously needed wide receiver there. There were other ones that, I think Devontae Adams and Terry McLaurin are like not that far off of Egbuka from a base case, but you can see how it could go really well for Egbuka if you agree that they were, Baker was hurt last year, and Egbuka was also hurt down the stretch last year. And also, thanks to Solver, I didn't have to do the memorization, I got the week 17 correlation there between Egbuka and Kerrane.
Incredible there. Have you been drafting any other teams? Do you have any new takes or news that you are trying to capitalize on?
I mean, I went on a total rant on Market Monday, which I actually already recorded about this Quentin Johnston's team. Can you explain to me why Quentin Johnston is up 40 spots in ADP over the last 2 months?
Is that on both DraftKings and Underdog?
I mean, he's up a lot on Underdog for sure, but on DraftKings, I know specifically it's 40 spots.
Wow. No, I'm trying to wrap my head around what would be driving this. Is this just Mike McDaniel aura driving everybody up?
Mike McDaniel, maybe. He was hired in January, though. You know, I don't know. There's been some like positive coach speak and tape out there on QJ, and I think it just doesn't make any sense to me. But
yeah. Weird. Let's see here. I need to try something. I was trying to see if someone had suggested, can I crop Adam out and put Mrs. McVeigh in that box? But I don't know if I'm able to tech lord that right now on the fly, but we could work on that. Dude, what are you leaning in? You get mad at me for not being able to see it on my screen. You can't even see it on your own screen. Why do you have to be like this for every pick?
Yeah, you're right. Let me make my screen a little bigger. I do know how to do that. Command plus.
Oh my God. All right, Adam, you have CMC, Henry, Kerrane, Egbuka in the 4th. You're going to be on the clock here in the 5th in a second. We'll see what you do there. I have the 2 running back, 2 wide receiver start.
Yeah. I was thinking about like, do I want to take Lamar here if it gets to me? I think, the correlation between Lamar and Derrick Henry obviously isn't like ideal, but and also I think given my start, I probably need to get into more wide receiver here. So I probably was going to pass on Lamar anyway. So I was kind of happy to see him go. I'm just going to go best wide receiver available. And I'm not like in love with DJ Moore or anything like that this year, but I do think he's the best wide receiver available.
Adam, before I click DeAndre Swift, who slid a bunch here and is way past ETR rank, was there any DeAndre Swift news that I've missed in the past 36 hours? Is he good to go?
He's good to go.
All right. We will take DeAndre Swift here at pick 58. Trying to see what caused him to fall. I guess Burrow jumped into the middle of the 5th round here, which normally doesn't happen. DJ Moore goes ahead of him here. Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you having fun, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm actually drafting. Like instead of making quote unquote content, I feel like I'm drafting. If you want to make content, we can do 25s all summer, and we can be play the lotto or whatever, and we can get our $1 of EV. If you want to draft and play the 500s, then we should do it like this. So it's just what you want to do. It's your rodeo, dude. It's your show.
It honestly, you calling it a rodeo and not a circus means a lot. All right, I'm back on the clock here. Man, I always hate this spot in drafts. I do generally default to Jayden Daniels here, who's the top rank. Solver doesn't mind Tyson. I think I'm going to keep grabbing shares of Jayden Daniels, though, at this price.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
On the DJ Moore stuff here, and you're about to make your 6th round pick, we were kind of talking about it with Dwain. I think a lot of his ADP is tethered to Josh Allen drafters grabbing him when they come back in the 5th. After you make this pick here, are you willing to take the plunge on DJ Moore by himself like you did here?
Yeah, I saw you wrote about DJ Moore versus Waddle or something like that. I didn't have like as strong takes as I guess other people on DJ Moore. It's obviously not a great sign that Ben Johnson didn't really love him. I don't know what's like. It seems like you really don't like DJ Moore. What don't you like about DJ Moore?
I just think that the offensive upgrade for Waddle in the path to being a focal point of the offense is so much more evident in Denver. And I do think Sean Payton is willing to feature a number 1 wide receiver if he actually had the talent to do so. Whereas I don't think DJ Moore, and I think the way I worded it in the piece was at this stage of his career, I don't think he is dynamic or transcendent enough as a talent for the Bills to redo their offense around him. I feel like they're just going to run their offense like they did last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they gave up so much to get him. So, but yeah, I hear you. I don't think he's like that. He can remember that one year with Justin Fields, man, that always sticks in my head because I had this huge fade on him. I was like, there's no way DJ Moore with Justin Fields is going to bury me. And he just absolutely buried me. What was that, like 2023 or 2022 or something?
And that was when Lloyd was off of him. And I think, didn't he have the huge game against the Commanders? He had like a 50 ball that like skewed his points per game. And Lloyd still didn't necessarily want to take the L on the fade because of that. Yeah, I think he's someone I don't want to be, at 0% on, but he's not a guy I feel comfortable taking a huge stand. And it's like, dude, we were just drafting Shakir in round 6 and 7 as the glorified wide receiver 1 for the Bills. And now he's 70 picks cheaper. It's not fun. It's boring, but Shakir feels like the way to play that.
Yeah. I had Shakir in the 3K last year on DraftKings, so I was like sweating it pretty hard each week. It's a tough watch on Shakir, man.
He's so tough to watch.
It's not fun. He catches everything like literally behind the line of scrimmage. It's so brutal.
But I wonder if like he's clearly miscast as a wide receiver 1. Can he like slide into more of a natural role while DJ Moore commands more attention?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Don't hit me with a that's fair. We know that's derogatory. You're on the clock here after going DJ Moore and Tyson.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get into a little I have 4 guys in my queue, importantly, so I'm not panicking. I'm just deciding if I want wide receiver. I'm going to go Tucker Kraft here, actually.
All right, Tucker Kraft gets your first.
Oh no, I missed my pick. Even with the star method, I missed my pick.
Oh my God!
But I had Pearson.
I
had Pearson in the queue. I'm fine with it. I missed my pick, but I'm fine with it because I had Pearson in the queue.
Unbelievable.
The backup star method.
Unbelievable. I got some. Go ahead.
I was just thinking Kraft because like I'm trying to get some more correlation, but I thought I could get Love, but yeah.
Yeah. I think you're learning today, Adam. It's not as easy as it looks. A lot of my So You Think You Can Tout contestants, they had to host the Bash this week. They realized it's a little harder than it looks. You've cast some stones from glass houses. How does it feel? Alec Pierce, we should be taking Josh Downs ahead of Alec Pierce right now. Can Alec Pierce even walk right now, Adam?
Okay. 1 second here. I'm almost on the clock. I'm actually drafting. I'm trying to actually
You're more worried about your pick. I'm the next one on the clock here. I don't even need to look at the board until there's 3 seconds left.
He's texting me in green.
I almost took Tucker Kraft just to tilt you there a little bit.
For bid equity?
Dude, so Dwain and I picked him. I feel like everyone I draft with likes Jordan Addison. I'm scared of him. I'm taking Xavier Worthy over Addison. Am I crazy for that?
I prefer Addison just because I think that I'm taking Addison here. I think that every quarterback has performed in this situation, this Vikings KOC situation, other than JJM. So I don't want to be like, oh, well, I'm shaky on Vikings pass game now because of last year. I think Kyler's going to come in and play well. So, yeah, I still like Addison. I think he's like an actual NFL really good wide receiver, or at least good wide receiver, unlike Jawan Jennings, who I think is more like a blocker grinder type.
Yeah. The chat was screaming for me to take Dak. I thought about it. When I have the running back and the wide receiver there, I don't mind pushing it a little bit more. It was past ADP, but I have Jaden Daniels. I kind of want to keep stacking wide receiver bets there. I think it was close. Would you have taken Dak on a Jaden team or try to push it?
I tend to push it more at quarterback, but I do think like when you stop at 2, and I still think there's a lot of merit to taking 3 in these, even though I know it's like harder to now. But if I'm taking 2, in the interest of taking 2, sometimes I'll go Dak there.
Yeah. I think it's close. For sure. I guess because I kind of pulled up my wide receiver target. If I did think it was flat, then maybe going Dak there. But yeah, I like having the flexibility with Jaden Daniels. I know I can do Geno later. I can do Baker. Yeah, it was close. Let's see here. Is Adam a Max Brosmer truther? I'm guessing not, but do you have any love for Max Brosmer? Do you want someone other than Kyler to win the Minnesota quarterback?
No, but I don't buy all this. You know, it's easy to say now as we sit here in June, like, oh, JJ McCarthy looks great. JJ McCarthy is going to push Kyler. Like, KOC knows. I mean, they basically said it in the media that like Kyler is going to be the starter. So I think Kyler is going to be fine.
Yeah. All right. Adam went ahead and took Addison there. He, you know, it's hard to look at Alec Pierce on this roster, just knowing what could have been if Adam utilized the star method correctly. We'll see if he can recover. He does get Jordan Addison in round 8. I went ahead and took Godwin and Worthy there after Jaden Daniels. I got a 1-3-4-0. Adam has a 0-3-5-0. No tight ends for either of us here. What are you thinking in the 9th round?
Yeah, I'm just checking the board now. See, this is the kind of things that I do when I'm drafting myself. I'm checking the board to see if I think I can slip the quarterback that I want through here. So yes, when I'm on the sticks here, I'm evaluating my queue. I'm also looking at the board to see what I can sneak through. This is important stuff if you're doing an actual.
Yeah, talk out loud who you think you can sneak through. I promise I won't consider taking them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, oh, this could be interesting. Oh.
He sees a play, folks.
Oh, I see something I might be able
to do. Don't auto draft Daniel Jones with your star method.
I see a play I might be able to do here.
Wow, Matthew Golden. Are you really thinking you can get Jordan Love with the Tucker Kraft, Josh Allen guy right here?
Well, I think it protects me because I have 2 other quarterbacks in my queue already, you see. So I know now that I have a buffer, even if Jordan Love goes, that I do have a buffer here.
Yes, I am on the clock here. Solver likes Fannin, Pitts, Myers. Whoa, this is close. I'll take Fannin here and grab my first tight end. His price has come down a little bit. Harold Fannin. Do you have who do you prefer, Fannin or Pitts there?
I think Fannin.
Yeah. He was dealing with a little injury thing, but it doesn't seem like it's going to inhibit him at all. I guess the question is just like, how good is KC Concepcion? How much of a beneficiary of no target competition was Fannin last year? And could KC in Boston complicate that for him?
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to get a guy that I'm going to go, man, do I want to pull him up here? I'm getting bullish on George Kittle, dude. I'm doing it. I'm grabbing George Kittle here.
Yeah, I thought he would have been an interesting pick for me as well there. But yeah, I thought like the Kittle stuff is just like classic BBM. Like, how do you have a super team, get George Kittle on your team and have him in round 10 and have him be 100% for the last 2 months? Like, seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, so you're on the clock here, and then people want to hear you. Okay, you grab Kyler, makes sense. Stack him up with Addison, your first quarterback. They want to hear you make the bull case for Matthew Golden, who you took there in the 9th.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've talked a lot about how much more condensed the Packers pass game is going to be this year, whereas they've played Wicks and Dobbs before. They're really down to just 3. There's some risk they play Savion Williams more, but I don't think that would be in the Matthew Golden role. And so in all 2 wide receiver sets, we know Jaden Reed's not going to play. It's going to be Matthew Golden and Christian Watson. And then in 3 wide receiver sets, you get Jaden Reed coming in the slot. Matthew Golden's year 1 was like disappointing, but there's a lot of excuses that you could make for him, including him being injured and playing through injury, and then all the rotating that they did. So I don't want to completely write off Matthew Golden as part of an offense that I wanted to, but really I was going to either take Dart or Kyler or a tight end there, but I thought it might be interesting to try to get a really late Jordan Love through there if possible. But yeah, I feel like I'm looking at my solver buckets and I'm still under, even though I've taken all these wide receivers in a row, I took 6 wide receivers in a row and I'm still under my draft allocation bucket on wide receiver on solver.
Yeah, but I feel like with those builds, it really comes down to, can you pull it off at quarterback, right? Yeah. And because you're out of wide receiver bullets. And so now you're putting pressure on what you need. You need Baker, you need the Shuck, you need the Daniel Jones. Like if you can line those up, it works perfectly. Otherwise, if you have to build back stacks, then what? You basically have to go the naked quarterback route, the unstacked route.
Yeah, I mean, I have so much naked Willis anyways. Like, it's fine. I don't mind getting more. Oh, yeah, the Baker. I could have used Baker for sure, but Gordo goes Baker there.
Yeah, the quarterbacks are never safe here. I was interested in Baker as well with Godwin, but I don't think he was ever going to get past you in that spot anyways.
Right.
All right, Adam, you are on deck here at 11-8. What are you looking at?
Yeah. I was really hoping Shuck or Baker would get to me, obviously. Like, it's the risk you run at the quarterback position, but I always have it in my back pocket. Just when I go to bed at night, I think naked Malik. Oh, more naked Malik. Just naked Malik, naked Malik, naked Malik. I mean, it's like if he gets benched this year at some point, I'm going to be so miserable. But yeah, I do not think I do not think it's like the Field situation where he's a candidate to get benched. I really don't. It would be silly for them to bench him.
Damn. I was going to go with Higgins there and see if I could get Stroud to come back. I think my play now is I'll do Coker and consider potentially a Bryce Young play. Dalton Kincaid comes off the board. So Adam's up to a 2-3-6-0, has those three running backs up top, CMC, Henry, Kyren. You think you could rock a pure hyperfragile there or probably get to 4?
I'll probably get to 4 at some point here, but I'm certainly not going to force it.
Yep. Speaking of forcing it, do we want to push quarterback here? Do we want to sit on it? Let's see here. We do have some big running back fallers here. I've been interested in taking a nibble at Chris Rodriguez with stuff as this falls here. I'm going to go ahead and grab him as my running back 4. You guys got him at 123. What's your read on that? Obviously, us Tootin' Bros, we're pretty excited about the chance for him to maybe get some extra training camp reps. Do you think Chris Rodriguez will be fine for the start of the season?
I mean, they've shown very little concern. Forget about start of the season. They say Chris Rodriguez is back for the start of camp. So,
yeah.
Is your draft frozen?
I don't think so.
I just
wait, you're right. It was just for a second there. I think we're back. Okay. Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good. Thankfully I have the queue. I have my guys starred, so I don't need to like even if I got auto drafted, I would have gotten the pick that I wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like mixed results with the star method from what I've seen from Alec Pierce.
Well, thank God I got Alec Pierce because now I get the front door stack with Daniel Jones.
There you go. Yeah, this worked out well for you there. You get the 2 stacks, you sneak in the naked quarterback, and then what? I mean, are you 4 tight end curious on underdog? Have you pulled that off yet?
I try not to on underdog because I think with 18 rounds it's worse, but I have been doing it a little bit on DraftKings just because I so often I think that the best picks in round 18, 19, 20 are tight ends. So yeah, it's not ideal, but I may have to end up doing it here. We'll see.
Yeah. Jake's theory is you were sitting on the is your draft frozen to set up the Q bit, that you weren't actually concerned. You just wanted to flex your preparation on me. What's the over on how many teams do you think Evan Silva best ball teams will he draft by the start of the season? Over under best ball teams for Evan Silva?
He told me that he's actually been drafting more. I assume he's doing the DK Lotto, but yeah, I'll ask him. I do think he's been drafting a decent amount already, actually, which, yeah.
Are you familiar that there is someone on Underdog whose username is Evan Silva that I'm pretty sure is not Evan Silva?
Correct. I don't think it is either. And also, my friend Christian Harder, I don't know if you know the poker player, Charter 30. He is skin to fur on skin, the number 2 fur on Underdog. And he plays like super high volume and high stakes, obviously. And people are always like, oh, nice draft, man. I'm like, well, thanks, but that's actually my buddy Charter. It's not me. So yes, there's a lot of
stolen valor.
Yes, exactly. Good one. Stolen valor.
Well, speaking of which, because it was 2 weeks ago or whenever you said that you were going to be out, and I asked you who would be a good fill-in for you. We ended up having Mark Dank on last week. It was great, but I did reach out to Daniel Zach, and we were going back and forth. He was a little skeptical He said something about he ended up not getting any action in some other spots after he made the drafting rounds last time. But he said maybe he does these private drafts and we could kind of host a private draft with him on here.
Yeah, I was in like 3 of his private ones last year. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Do you like playing those? I mean, obviously the strategy for a contained 12-person best ball league is so different. Do you like the switch up there?
Yes. I mean, obviously, like, I think a lot of people want like theoretical equity, like, oh, in theory, I'm making so much on these best ball lottos, but I don't know about you guys. I like to actually have money, so I'm trying to realize my equity. So yes, I try to turn $10 into $18 in head-to-heads as often as possible.
Do you think of your best ball portfolio more like a Vanguard index fund than you do a lotto ticket? You're on the clock.
I know I'm on the clock. All right. Highest rank correlated. I think even though I'm really pushing a tight end now, I think I need one more wide receiver here, and then I'll be done.
All right, you grab Jauan Jennings there, so you get your Minnesota double stack there with Kyler. I was hoping Bryce would come back because I had Coker, but I'm fine to do a backdoor stack here with Darnold. ETR rank 135, ADP 142. I get him at 154 here, and some nice options to backstack him with.
Yeah, there's good backstack. I mean, Shaheed, there was a good Shaheed note, and like we've been moving up Shaheed more and more lately at the expense of Kupp. I mean, I still think Kupp is fine in like round 18, but we've been trying to move up Shaheed at the expense of Kupp as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, Shaheed is such a tough eval. There was like who he was as a player, and then how the Seahawks deployed him is the take just, hey, they weren't ready to install him in their offense on the fly in the way that they wanted to. And they said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But with a full off season, they'll get him cooking.
Exactly. I think so. And like, another year older for Cooper Kupp, and like, you're going to need playmakers. I mean, Kenneth Walker's a big time playmaker. You don't have him. So yeah, I think they have to get Shaheed involved.
I went with Denzel Boston, wanted to grab my 6th wide receiver there. I kind of have the bet on the Browns with Fannin. He's a guy I've been getting a lot. I know we've drafted him a decent bit too. And you get the nice run out here of this big Minnesota bet after starting Addison Kyler. You tack on Jauan Jennings and Hawkinson.
Yeah. Hawkinson's not that far removed from actually being good. He might be toast. So, I think there's a decent amount of risk there. I would have taken Juwan Johnson over Hawkinson if I didn't have the correlation. If I had Shuck with Tyson, I would have gone Juwan Johnson there over Hawkinson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, Hawkinson, he's another guy, like, I just don't know how to think about him. Obviously, if Kyler goes nuts, Hawkinson's probably going to have a decent season. But do you have any other thoughts about him in a vacuum of just how you project him this year? Yeah,
I think if you think TJ Hawkinson is healthy and like anywhere near his old form, I think he's a really strong pick. Like how many tight ends that go 165 overall at tight end can go out and catch 8 balls in a game? Like it's really not that likely for very many guys. And Hawkinson certainly has that in him. So yeah, I think it's just a bet on like, does he have anything left in the tank? Has he been too injured?
Adam, a controversial pick has been made in the 14th round. Seth McGowan has been drafted to a user named Dickles the Bear. Is this a star method gone wrong, or did Jonathan Taylor just tear his ACL?
I have not heard anything about Jonathan Taylor, but there was some positive buzz that like McGowan's going to get a real shot to unseat DJ Giddens, and that's kind of always how I thought it would go. So yeah, it makes sense.
Consigliere says, so Levitan refused to draft together after the reckoning. Is this now your first solo draft of the year on stream? Consigliere, I draft a solo draft every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So no, and I will be drafting another solo draft after this. And God, it is going to be such a treat to draft and not have to recap both my team and Adam's. It's going to be just luxurious. All right, Adam, what are you doing here? You're on the clock. You're about to time out.
No, I'm not about timeout because in my queue, once I took Malik Willis, I put other Dolphins I'm interested in my queue. And then when it gets to me, I'm like, oh, Greg Dulcich is here. I need tight end. And Malik Willis correlates and he's in my queue. So yes, Dulcich for me.
I haven't been forcing the issue with Antonio Williams, but on a Jaden Daniels team, Antonio Williams falls past ADP to 178. I guess I got to ask, like, where are you at on this Aiyuk stuff? Are you tacking him on to Jaden stuff?
I don't think the Commanders are going to want him at this point. I think he's like too out of control. So I haven't been taking him very much at all.
Yes. I think I'll do a 3 tight end build here or we could go. Yeah, I think I'll go AJ Barner. Definitely don't need to do 3 tight ends, but I'm going to build out some stuff around Sam Darnold. So we grab Darnold to Barner. We grab Antonio Williams with Jaden, and we're at a 2-4-7-3 with 2 more picks left. Adam has the 3-3-7-2. Definitely going to be adding another tight end, which he does. Is it Gunnar Helm season, Adam?
So I know some people are like really worried that Dan Bellinger is like Daboll's guy and Bellinger's going to play over Helm. Like Bellinger runs like a dad. And at some point, like I know that Daboll probably plays his guys too much and loves his guys too much. But Gunnar Helm, I thought like showed a lot for a rookie tight end, which is really tough to come in at. So my bet's still on Helm to play decently ahead of Bellinger here. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of last call for these tight ends where you feel good about it. I mean, Freiermuth has the Washington problem, Stowers, Gesicki, Njoku, Parkinson. You really start to run into some projectable playing time for tight ends after Helm comes off the board.
Yeah. And I do take a lot of, I take a decent amount of Michael Mayer late, just like, okay, maybe he gets a little standalone, they're going to play 12 a lot, but if something were to happen to Brock Bowers, like Michael Mayer will be a top 8 tight end. Like I think so. Yeah, I think that's an interesting one.
Yeah, that is because that's the other thing, right? Of if you are taking flyers on these late tight end builds, like I haven't done the Mayer thing. I almost feel like I would rather try to guess on one of these guys who does have more playing time. I mean, do you view him just strictly as a handcuff play?
No, I think they're going to play a lot of 2 tight end. And I think, yeah, I mean, Mayer we would probably have him projected for like when Bowers plays, we'll see how it goes, but something like 2 point something catches for 30 point something yards, which is like not nothing, but yeah, obviously there's not like breakout appeal unless something happens to Bowers.
Maybe after we finish this draft, you can show people your top 10 exposures, or would you feel naked? Is that private information? Is it rude to ask a tout to show them your exposures?
I'm happy to. I haven't done that many drafts yet, but I also would need to take a minute to upload and get everything re-uploaded to Solver for my exposures.
All right, Adam is on the clock here in the 17th round. Is he going to grab a running back here?
Got to go for the brand. So I think one thing you can do when you have these really running back heavy starts is like take more swings. I'm not like in love with MarShawn Lloyd, but I still think there's like room for a Josh Jacobs suspension. I don't have any information or inside information, but I still think that like there's a lot of smoke there. And so we'll see what happens with Josh Jacobs.
I took Katron Allen, needed another body, have Jaden Daniels, like the ambiguity there. Although I wrote about it in the Fantasy Life newsletter the other day where it's like they're now listing 6 different running backs when they talk about their backfield. But if it is an absolute mess outside of Rachaad White, like give me the rookie that they drafted the highest this year as the best bet to make beyond Rachaad.
Yeah, Katron's been slipping a little bit. Do you think Katron can like beat out JCM straight up?
I think so, right? I mean, look at their draft capital. I mean, I don't know if there's any allegiance to JCM over the 6th round pick they drafted this year. They're mentioning that other guy. Well, who's the other UDFA running back? I can't ever remember his name.
On the Commanders?
Yeah, they signed another guy who they talk up. They have Jeremy McNichols. They have Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't mind taking flyers on Katron though, just because of all that ambiguity. All right, 2-5-7-3. I do think we get, it's top of the ETR ranks, top of the solver. I got the correlation. Is there a more ETR ass pick this year than Cooper fucking Kupp, Adam?
I don't put that on me.
Why not?
Don't brand us.
Of course I
Cooper
can.
Kupp.
It's in your rankings. It's in your tools. It's everywhere. You guys are essentially established the Cooper Kupp. I mean, that's the propaganda you guys are shoving down our throats.
I think when you need like obviously projectable like targets, I think that the Cooper Kupp stuff is fine. I need to decide between I have Gesicki and Emmett Johnson in my queue here.
Go 4 tight ends. Go 4 tight ends.
Ugh.
Do it. Do it.
I'm gonna go Emmett.
Oh, wow. You had a chance to let your freak flag fly with 4 tight ends and you chickened out.
I don't want to be branded to Cooper Kupp and 4 tight ends.
That is the Leote brand right there. I mean, Leote 4 tight end curious, Cooper Kupp. You are filling his shoes on the show this year, but you gotta forge your own path. And that path has been berating me, forcing me to change overlays, do the drafts differently. So it is a nice path.
Maybe that should
all right.
Honestly, in the interest of not taking zeros, like that Mike Gesicki is not going to be a 0. Emmett Johnson could be a 0, and MarShawn Lloyd could be a 0. So in the interest of that, maybe it should have been Gesicki there. But yeah.
I wanted to ask you about Lloyd because I do like Lloyd as well. I've been thinking about him versus Jaydon Blue a lot. And obviously Blue was off the board before you picked here. The Blue path to RB2 seems cleaner, but you don't have the like Josh Jacobs legal stuff, opening up. How do you think of those two as late round handcuffs?
Yeah, I think it's similar in that if something happened to the starter, I don't think either one would be a true workhorse. In other words, they know MarShawn Lloyd cannot last with 15 plus touches in a game. And I think if something were to happen to Javonte, you would see Malik Davis, Jaydon Blue, and maybe Maffa all play. So I don't think it's like the cleanest handcuff, whereas Ray Davis or Brian Robinson or something like that is like a much cleaner. Algier, maybe if they get rid of Connor, would be like a cleaner handcuff, like direct 1-for-1. Like Ray Davis will play the James Cook role if James Cook goes down. So I think those guys are like a little bit weaker, Blue and Lloyd, but they certainly are like more explosive. And if something doesn't happen to the starter, I think both, have a little bit more standalone value.
All right, let's recap both of these teams. I'm going to have to make this stream 5 hours long as we have to recap 2 teams now every week. How did your auto draft experiment go, by the way?
Oh God, let me see who I got.
Yeah, read it off here for us.
By the way, can you explain why you have an Android? Have you talked about this on the show ever?
What? What is there to explain? Why do I have to explain that? That's like asking me to explain why do I have a Toyota Corolla? Do I have to explain all of my this is a free market. It's a great phone. I love my Pixel 10.
So I don't really disagree. I've never had one. I don't disagree. It's just like the green text is almost like too much for me to handle. Like it's like so brutal.
Oh, trust me, I get it. I had a chance to be best friends with Patrick Laird, and not having an Apple iPhone basically ended our correspondence before it started when he realized that I was an Android boy.
Do these go in order when I look in my underdog like completed drafts?
Yes, they go in reverse chronological, but I can help you out, Adam. Look for the one where you have Kyler. That's the one you drafted on stream. The one that doesn't have Kyler is the one you autoed.
Right, but I got a bunch of other BBMs here. Looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 BBMs now. I think the one that I autoed is a 3-7.
It'll be at the top.
Yep.
It'll be at the top.
Yep. They gave me a 3-7-4-4. So you're gonna owe me $25 actually.
Dude,
because you told me to register. You told me to register, and you said you'd get in. I register, you don't get in, and it fills. I auto, and the auto gives me a 3-7-4-4.
Let me tell you, Adam, there's this product I would love for you to get. It's called the Solver. You can use promo code Pete for 20% off. And it has this incredible feature here called position limits. You can see I have mine set for 3 quarterbacks, 8 running backs, 9 wide receivers, 4 tight ends. I do like 4 tight ends. But had you used this product, which again, I recommend, the people behind it, really nice people, really good, really smart. This would have prevented that from happening.
No, because I can't set minimums. It didn't go over the maximum. I had the positional limit set. It didn't go over them. It gave me only 4 wide receivers, though. Because the Solver doesn't auto draft. For all those people that were bitching when I came on here a year ago, the assistant's going to ruin the game. It doesn't make the picks for you. So it has limits. It doesn't have minimums. So yes, it gave me 4 wide receivers. My 4 wide receivers are Olave, Jeremy Bernard, Calvin Ridley, and Cooper Kupp. You owe me $25. And brand reputation. Whoever was in that draft with me, they're going to be like, Adam's a fucking idiot now. Think about the countless dollars you've cost ETR now by also having Adam, the auto draft.
Here's what you say. When people start trolling you online, you say, my username is actually Skin to Fur. That was not me. And Glenn, if you're watching, a new feature request, we need both positional minimums and maximums for Adam Levitan.
It's funny. I asked about the minimums to the solver developers. They laughed. They were like, we can't have minimums. It doesn't make picks for you. No matter what the public thinks, the solver does not make picks for you. So there can't be a minimum.
That's right. You have to take ownership for the Alec Pierce accidental selections. You cannot blame it on the solver. That is pure user error. All right, Adam. Recap the team you did draft in good faith minus Alec Pierce here.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done a ton of these, but I do want to mix in like the RB starts. You know, obviously I got way behind at tight end, and maybe that last one should have been Gesicki. I think with like the old way, these olds that I have, having some youth at running back with Emmett Johnston for a late season hammer might make sense. But yeah, I'm fine with my wide receivers. Like, I don't know what you think, but like when you start pounding wide receiver through this range, I'm like okay with it, especially on underdog where wide receivers aren't nearly as valuable as DraftKings. So I felt like I didn't really, not really behind at wide receiver, and I got a lot of correlation. You know, tight end is what it is. Hopefully Kyle Pitts doesn't give me a 50 ball when this team is in week 15 of the best ball finals.
I like this team. I don't like Alec Pierce, but you've already addressed that. I do think you could have gone either way, right? Emmett Johnson or 4th tight end. I think that was close. The bye week bros will come out and say, okay, week 6, Adam, you have just Daniel Jones and just Gunnar Helm at the onesies. What do you say to the bye week bros?
Yeah, I couldn't sweat it. I mean, Malik Willis was like the only pick that I had there. And I do think Helm, I needed that like upside, like breakout candidate with Hawkinson and Dulcich. So yeah, I get it. But
all right, my squad here, Jaden Daniels and Sam Darnold. We were talking about the 3 QB versus 2 QB thing. It didn't really force the issue here. Running backs, Omarion Hampton, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, Chris Rodriguez, and Katron Allen. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Godwin, Worthy, Coker, Boston, Antonio Williams, Cooper Kupp. Tight ends, Fannin, Kittle, Barner. I mean, really strong wide receiver room, really strong tight end room. I think the running back room's fine. What do you think about Jaden and Sam as a 2 QB build? Is that good enough, or should I have tried to get a Geno or somebody else in there?
No, I think that's good enough. I mean, it's definitely good enough for advanced. I do think that there's like real value in having 3 stacks for the fantasy playoffs and trying to have them go off in different weeks. But with the way the quarterback landscape is now, like forcing a Geno is just like, especially an 18-round draft. I do not think that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when you were making those selections, when you know you don't have the elite quarterback, how much on your mind is I want to take players who give me options at a back stack?
It's definitely on my mind. I mean, I don't want to show up to like the BBM quarterfinal or semifinal or final without like a lot of correlation. I mean, think about it like DFS. If I was playing, I'd be super correlated. So yeah, I think it's important to think about your back stacks.
Where are you at on, I was talking about it a little bit with Dwayne, one of the, what I would say loudest drum beats that we've gotten this offseason as far as potential personnel or usage changes is Josh Downs getting moved all over the field. Are you buying that? Are you worried about the specter of Keenan Allen? How are you playing the Josh Downs rise?
Yeah, I've been on Josh Downs. I've drafted a ton of Josh Downs. Seems like this is like the buzz of the last 2 weeks has been Josh Downs. I think they're major risks that they sign someone. Diggs, Keenan Allen. Yeah, I think they should. And they need someone. I mean, Josh Downs is very small to try to play every snap. I think they should try it, but he's very small. They're going to need depth. And on top of that, you have the Alec Pierce worry. So we have unlisted built into the Colts wide receiver stuff. Like, I think they're probably going to try to find someone.
Because it's a weird thing, right? Like if they sign someone, is it to cover for Alec Pierce missing time? And if so, doesn't a Keenan or Diggs type overlap with the down skill set and not the Alec Pierce skill set?
For sure. I think they just think like we need more good receivers, period.
Yeah.
So yeah. And also, like, Daniel Jones, I thought played really well last year. Now he's coming off Achilles. Like, I don't want to get too far on Downs. Like, I thought he was awesome around pick 100, 105. Where did he go in this draft, Downs? He must have gone like 90 or something, 92.
Yeah, he's been rising. Where did he go? He went at pick 85.
Yeah, 85. I mean, yeah, that's way different than like 105. He used to be going in that like Golden, Pearsall, Worthy range.
And that was like, this was another thing I wrote about in the newsletter where it's like, I like Downs, I like Reed. It seems like the coach speak and the rhetoric is way more bullish for Downs than it is for Reed, because I am spooked about Golden being the guy in 2 wide receiver sets, and it's just business as usual for Jayden Reed.
Oh, I think it will be. They had the reports from OTAs. Even in OTAs, they were like, well, the starting 2 wide receiver set for the Packers is Golden and Watson. Like, they were just, we know this on Jayden Reed. I think he's a really good player, and he can still pay off and have really good weeks. But yeah, we know he's not going to play in very many 2 wide receiver sets.
Yeah, you mentioned the stuff about QJ. Maybe this is because, as I've been accused, I'm not a true best ball bro this year because I only draft on stream. But yeah, this Quentin Johnston up to 77, QJ ahead of DK Metcalf. Even guys like Godwin, Downs, who we just talked about. Man, that seems rich.
Yeah, I went on a whole rant. If you guys want more rants, I went on a rant on Market Monday today about Quentin Johnston. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Market Monday, you said that. Is that already posted or it's in the can?
I believe it should be up in the next 1 to 2 hours if it's not up already.
All right, beautiful. What else should people look out for from the ETR, airwaves, print waves, all that good stuff? Yeah,
I think if obviously you guys are serious and best ball bros, people listening to this, the ETE pods on the ETE channel and Establish the Edge is ETE, and ETE podcast, Gretch, Mark, and Jack talking through the inputs, and people want to know like why we have certain guys ranked the way that we have them. Listen to that. And also, I just think it's like, it's really interesting and like some of my favorite content to listen to. I understand it's not for everyone. You have to be super hardcore, but yes, I know people love them. And so yeah, check that out on Establish the Edge. And then we're starting to work on our redraft stuff. I know most people in here are best ball bros, but starting to work on the redraft stuff in a much bigger way. Draft kit is up and running. Bundle is up for purchase, combining draft kit with in season. So yeah, after July 4th, I feel like is when the season-long bros start to really get into the mix.
Yeah, I love the Establish the Edge. I haven't had a chance to listen to them. I'm going to bookmark them all. For me, and for anyone, whether it is you're playing redraft or best ball, we get to this point in the off season and we're constantly calibrating. We're taking in news, and it's really easy to get anchored to some specific takes. And I love listening to those guys actually do the math on the projection and understanding how it works or the leap you need to make for a take to actually play out. And it constantly changes or forces me to change my mind on these spots. And it's the perfect exercise before we start to actually get really good information.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it too. And yeah, obviously like Gretch and us don't talk before we do their projections. So I think that dynamic is interesting also, where it's like, oh, Gretch has this and we have this. So yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah. And it's always been like a fun blend between Gretch and the projections team, because Gretch has a different style and approach to fantasy football. And as does ETR. And you guys have like different goals that you're trying to offer your subscribers with your analysis, and to see where that butts up against each other or where there's overlap is also a cool way for people to kind of pick and choose how they want to approach their own portfolio.
100%. Yes.
All right. Good stuff, Adam. Now you'll get to decide, because this was going to be a surprise. The new layout, the capitulation. I saw in the chat, I want to say almost everyone likes the new layout. I am willing to take an L when I deserve to take an L. I agree that the circles covering the top of the queue, it was too much. Adam was right. I'm a big enough man to say that. But the real question is going to be, will Adam give me another chance to drive a joint draft with the new layout, or do you want to go this head-to-head model for the rest of the summer?
You can leave it up to the people. I prefer the head-to-head model, but if you use the queue, I'd be willing to go back. If you want to just do 25s, I'm willing to do anything. But if you want to do 500s, I think that we need to use the queue method.
You said if we want to do 25s, you're willing to do anything. I'm pretty sure if we wind back the tape, you want me to Venmo you $25. So is that true?
Yes, I want you to Venmo me $25, and Square's gonna be me.
We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. I do like the idea. I do want to have you on the sticks for another big dog draft. We have to do that at some point.
Yes, that'd be great. Yeah, it's hard to get the. Oh, they're doing the scheduled big dogs now, right? Is that right? I haven't done.
Yeah,
those yet,
they
but...
set that up. I think it's just in the evenings right now, but I bet if I talk to my good friends at Underdog, they'd maybe give us a best ball breakfast scheduled draft.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I love that, the scheduled draft part. So yeah, yeah, that's an interesting idea too.
All right, Adam, I'll let you go. I know you have a 1 p.m. Eastern tea time today. You got to get out on the lakes, so we'll let you get to that.
All right, as always, great to see you, buddy. Be good.
Are you in next week? I have to kind of plan ahead. You know, I know we're touch and go. Do you need to think about how this went before you toss Jack Miller over to me instead?
Let me go to my handwritten calendar here real quick.
Let's see it.
It is July 4th weekend. Are you traveling, or is it a day off on the 6th?
I am traveling, but Adam, I work. You know, once we flip over the calendar to Monday, I got to come over here and draft shitty best ball teams for the people. So I will be working after the holiday weekend. But if you're going to be, you know, doing 36 holes, like, I get it. Like, I can find someone to take your spot.
Nope, I will be here as well. And see, if you look on the calendar here, there's nothing on the 6th. See, nothing you can see here. So yeah,
don't screenshot that, folks. I just saw he's getting another colonoscopy later this week. All right, dude. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy your 4th of July holiday weekend.
Yes. Happy July 4th. Later.
All right. Peace. All right. We did debut the new layout. Now I need to check a few options for my new solo layout here. Let's see how's this going to work? How's this going to work when I am solo? We do have the circle option here for the old solo. We're just going to have to figure this out. My StreamYard, for people to like pull back the curtain. So StreamYard, the production software I use, they have all kinds of different preset configurations that you can use. But because of the amount of different shows I've been doing with So You Think You Can Tell, Best Ball Bash, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess looking at my configurations here, and I'm going to have to get it figured out. But right now, you guys just get to watch in real time, get to see how the sausage truly gets made as I build out this new layout here for the show. And as a thank you for your patience as I do this, I am going to do another coffee pour for you guys. That's my gift to you. Don't let anyone ever say that I don't do anything for you guys, because that's not the case today. That's not the case. Okay. All right. I think this is good. We're going to label this solo BBB layout. Let's see how this looks. Ta-da! This is where someone's going to get pissed. If I get the 12 hole, someone is going to say, Peter, I cannot see whose name is drafting from the 12 hole. Can we all agree that in the 1 in 12 chance that I draft from the 12 hole today, that you guys believe me, that it's me, that it says Peter Overzet in the top right? The squares are just for Levitan. The squares are just for Levitan. All right, coffee pour, 12:02 p.m. So the schedule is different today. If you guys are just tuning in, Dwain could only do 10 a.m. Eastern. And trust me, I like warming up the crowd. I like starting the show with a coffee pour, telling you about my weekend. But when Dwain says he can only do 10 a.m. Eastern, by God, we're going to do 10 a.m. Eastern. So that means Sam, who isn't here this week, got the pivot, and I'm going to do my solo stream here at 12. Then at 1 p.m. Eastern, we will have Pat Kerrane and, more importantly, Best Ball Guy. I have seen more comments in the chat about where is BBG, when BBG, than even Pat Kerrane, and I get it. It's BBG week. So rest assured, Pat Kerrane and the Best Ball Guy, Mr. Eric, will be here in less than an hour. But until then, I'm going to let my hair down. I'm going to pour some coffee, and I'm going to draft a team. I will say, for the people who want no circle floating head, for the people who want it to be the little Pete, just the most minuscule little circle, highly recommend watching the Best Ball Bash from last week. It was on Thursday. It was a mega edition, and it was a very special edition because it featured 6 of our remaining So You Think You Can Tout contestants. They all had to do my job and host the Best Ball Bash. And let me tell you, one, it was a very enjoyable stream. I learned a lot about them through that experience. And I will also say it was really nice not to have to host that by myself. 4+ hours. I don't know if you saw the video on X. I was getting my steps in. I was multitasking, responding to some emails. I was hanging out in the chat. I got to become a chat rat on my own channel. It felt good. And I think that might be the ultimate long con with this show, So You Think You Can Tout. Maybe there's more than one winner. Maybe there's 8 winners, and they just make content on my channel throughout the week. And I don't even have to show up anymore. You deal with Adam Levitan on Best Ball Breakfast. I don't need to deal with that anymore. So those are the kind of things I'm starting to think about right now. Here's the thing. Go AZ Card says, will Pete be little circle with BBG and Kerrane? That is a great idea. I do not have a 3-person layout for Best Ball Breakfast, so we can certainly make that happen. Look, I get it. When we're talking BBG and Kerrane, I'm just in the cuck chair, man. I just got to get out of the way and let BBG look longingly into those beautiful hazelnut eyes of Pat Kerrane. Yeah, Sacrilegious says, everyone always asks, when is BBG? But no one ever asks, how is BBG? Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder here. Holy cow. Here we go. Mac Nova. So let me pull the curtain behind this super chat from Mac Nova, because I'm not going to let him come across like he's just some really good, generous dude, which he is. But Mac Nova and I met up after going to the World Cup game last week on Tuesday at Boston Stadium, Ghana versus England, which I will say, and I'm pretty sure Mac Nova will back me up, was the most boring game of the World Cup. Maybe there's other contenders. It had to have been in the top 5. I mean, I watched some of the Portugal-Colombia game the other night. It ended in a 0-0 tie, but it was wildly entertaining. The pace was incredible, all kinds of shots on goal. We saw an absolute snooze fest. I'm not going to complain. Going to a World Cup game, the atmosphere, specifically the pregame, the tailgate, the English fans, the Ghana fans, really fun atmosphere. But what a boring game that was. But anyways, afterward, we're killing time, letting traffic settle down. Mac Nova finds me over in the section, me and some of my buddies. We hit up an American institution, a place I grew up going to as a young lad in Denver, Colorado, called Red Robin. I grew up on their bottomless fries, on those incredible milkshakes where they give you the separate malt container in addition to the main glass. And we went to Red Robin and we had a great time. And yes, did I pick up the bill? Absolutely. Because I wanted to do that for my friends. But Mac Nova here was not going to let me get one up on him in the Red Robin department. I don't even remember what he ordered. But right now he said he was going to make good on what he owed me for Red Robin. So this is a first in the history of the show, a super chat that is perfectly colored in the same colors as Red Robin, making me square. Thank you, Mac Nova. It was great hanging out with you last Tuesday. I am a sucker for Red Robin. I will say it's gone downhill. It has gone downhill, but I will always have a nostalgic love for Red Robin. It's right up there with Chili's, I would say, as my favorite of those chain restaurants, chain sit-down restaurants, I guess is how I would qualify them. But thank you, Mac Nova. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you guys watching live here on Best Ball Breakfast today. Like I said, I'm going to do a solo draft right now. And we have filled this draft. We'll have Pat Kerrane and BBG joining later. And if you guys are new here, for some reason, if one of the 663 of you watching live aren't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. We do a bunch of different shows throughout the week, including Best Ball Breakfast. I've been working on my in-season schedule. I, of course, have a placeholder for whatever show I'm going to do with whoever wins, so you think you can tout. But I also have some other new pieces of content, new shows that are going to debut this fall I'm getting very excited about. So make sure you guys are subscribed. We will be here through draft season, and then we will roll right into the 2026 NFL season. If you're interested in more written stuff, you're not able to catch all of the streams, I write the Fantasy Life newsletter 5 days a week. It's a free newsletter that drops directly into your inbox. And I also write a personal newsletter, the P.O. Box newsletter, completely free as well. That drops on Friday mornings. It's a good way to get a recap of everything I've been doing, get some thoughts on whatever is on my mind. And of course, naturally, have been talking a lot about the So You Think You Can Tout contest. And we are truly down to the nitty gritty. We are working on this most recent episode that featured the Bash Challenge, but there was a bigger part of it too. It was called The Interview. And you guys are going to see that hopefully in the near future. Most realistically, it's going to be after the holiday weekend. We still have some elements that we're pulling together, but it is going to be another awesome episode that I'm very excited for you guys to see. But without further ado, we are in a draft from the 110. This is my 65th Best Ball Mania draft. The haters will say that I don't draft best ball teams. But here I am. The numbers don't lie, 65. Imagine how many I could be at if I just took out my phone on a walk for once. If I was laying in bed at night like Davis Mattek and decided to multi-table 9 puppies. I will get there. I will get there soon enough, but I'm just not quite there. Maybe this 4th of July holiday weekend. Maybe I'm sitting there on the beach, sipping on a Modelo, and I say, now is the time. Now is the time for me to draft Bayshell Tootin at the 4-5 turn when no one is watching. But with everybody watching here at the 110, we will see what Bez does. They go CeeDee Lamb. What do we want to do here? Should I keep boosting my Genty exposure? I'm just not a Jefferson guy. I like playing that offense through the cheaper pieces, but even then, I'm a little spooked on Addison. I don't mind Kyler. Jawan's price is fine. Hawkinson's price is fine. I feel like it's a tricky offense because there are a bunch of new variables, and yet you are having to still pay the premium for Jefferson. There's risk for Addison. But I do, like everybody else, want to bet on the KOC stuff. So I get it. But I'm going to keep tilting my late round exposures more in the direction of these running backs. So we're going to start Genty here again, just like we did in the draft with Dwain McFarland from Fantasy Life, if you missed that first draft. Derrick Henry goes off the board. So we could do Hampton. We can do Kenneth Walker. How many times have I done Kenneth Walker with Genty? 14.3% of the time I've done it on my Genty shares. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and we'll do it again. Ashton Genty, Kenneth Walker. Have some fun. Next week on Best Ball Breakfast, we will be doing an ESPN mock draft instead. I really hate you spoiling my future content ideas, Davis, but I can't keep that in the bag any longer. Pete, aren't you worried you're pacing too fast for BBM? I haven't even done the math on that. What is my pace at? I let the touts draft BBM teams on my account on Thursday. I'm full steam ahead. Things always get crazy in August. So we'll see. I'll do the math eventually. I don't think I need to do the math eventually, or I don't think I need to slow down yet. But we'll factor that in. I appreciate the heads up. Where's Derek Carr? I thought he'd be a guest by now. Don't worry. We're texting. We're talking. He's got a lot going on in his life. He's doing trivia now on his YouTube channel. The feelers have been put out there. We'll work on it. I see Fantasy Pill has become a YouTube member. Welcome. With your YouTube membership, you get access to the bash. Actually, that reminds me, a little programming note. This week, the bash is going to be on Wednesday. Same time, noon Eastern, but it's going to be on Wednesday. I am going to be out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, away from my computer. So we're going to do the bash on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, noon Eastern. Ship chasing is going to immediately follow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of ship chasing, we're going to draft an FFPC playoff best ball team over there. FFPC best ball team, I should say, the 125. We're already registered for it. So if you guys want to compete against the Chasers on Wednesday, feel free to join us. All right. I have an offer from a friend to join me. Let's do it. But Fantasy Pill, you are eligible for the bash now that you are a YouTube member. I will be hosting it on Wednesday. The Touts won't be hosting it. So you can join me there at noon Eastern. Also, you can get access to After Dark shows if you are at the Best Ball Value Hound tier. That'll get you access to the After Dark shows. I'm going to do After Dark Thursday evening with BBG because it is BBG week. People forget. Let me make a couple picks here, and then I will get our guest up. We have Genty. We have Walker. What have we done with these two before? We have done T. Higgins 100% of the time. So let's go ahead and we'll do Garrett Wilson here. We have not done Garrett Wilson with the Genty Walker start. And I had just set up my new overlay, but let me get back to the 2-box here. Now that we have a special guest joining us. Let's see here. There he is. Welcome, Davis Mattek, to the stream. How are we doing, Davis?
Hey, it's going great. I saw that you were drafting a Best Ball Mania team and not an ESPN mock draft, so I thought I'd hop on. No, actually, what really happened is I've transitioned back to normal people, Claude, the $20, not the $200, and I ran out of tokens until noon. So I had 45 minutes where I wasn't going to get anything done anyway.
All right. You are here because he ran out of tokens. Do you like Ladd? Do you like Igbuka, Devontae Adams? Who do you like here?
Honestly, Ladd. Yeah. Ladd. I am starting to feel the pressure, like this cranial pressure in the back of my neck that the Justin Herbert, Mike McDaniel connection might leave a sort of Death Star laser beam wake throughout the American Football Conference. And if I'm having to watch the Chargers do that, I'm going to really need to be profiting from it because it is going to basically be the least fun watch of my football life watching that happen.
That is the ultimate like financial hedge. If like they are leading the AFC West and they're like big broing the KC Chiefs, the only thing that you're going to be able to do is just show a bunch of Charger, Keaton Mitchell, Ladd exposure and be like, I'm enjoying it too, brothers. I'm enjoying it too. That's your only out, Davis.
Like, imagine the Athletic think piece. I was going to say Deanna Rossini. It won't be Deanna Rossini now. Whoever Deanna Rossini is at the Athletic now. And it's like, we surveyed all the general managers in the NFL, and they're worried that Justin Herbert and the Chargers are just going to take over the NFL for the next 5 seasons. They have a bunch of good young players, Aronde Gadsden, a 5th-round pick, Ladd McConkey not to his contract extension yet. This team can get better with Justin Herbert, the best quarterback in the NFL.
Have you
kill me? I don't even think Ladd's good. I don't even like. I think he's so whatever. But I mean, if Darren Waller can scam up a tight end 4 points per game season, I'm pretty sure Ladd McConkey can.
Yeah, one of the things I've been thinking about, because I'm pretty polarized with how I view the Chargers as well, where I'm like, I think this is either going to really work or everything is overpriced. So like when I do the Ladd stuff, I'm like, I want Herbert, I want Trey Harris, I want Gadsden. Like I'm skeptical of all of those guys to an extent, but if I take that plunge, give me fucking all of them, because isn't the bet on Mike McDaniel in the first place?
The bet is that they are basically this year's version of the best comparison I can actually do is the 2023 Houston Texans, where basically every single player on the team was just like a mega smash at ADP. Yeah. Like Stroud was a mega smash. The receivers were a mega smash. I believe, I don't remember what tight end it would have been then.
It was still
like
I
think that's correct. You know, that was a long time.
You're not going to pull a Schultz past me, brother. That's my guy.
That's that dude. I tell you what, I don't change my mind about things that often in fantasy football. Kerrane in our private chat the other day really sold me on Schultz. I was like, you know what? You're making a lot of great points, and I can't refute any of them.
I know it's the Sims turning Kerrane into this Schultz and Jawan Johnson guy. Who would have seen it coming? All right, we're about to pick at 5'10 by ADP. DJ Moore, Rome,
whoever you want. This is like the worst pick on the board. This 5-6 turn when all the running backs are gone.
I haven't been doing a ton of Tate in BBM, so let's grab him.
Yeah, totally.
I'm at 4.6%
totally fine by me.
Tate. That seems light.
Yeah, fine by me.
This
it's just
is a
like
brutal spot.
Once Judkins goes off there and Lamar is gone, come on, like you have to be such an unserious person if you're like, I have a great degree of conviction that one of these wide receivers is better than the other one. These dudes are all the exact same, more or less.
Rome, Jordan Tyson, Tyler Warren, Jaden Daniels. What are you doing?
Damn, this is also a great Jadarian, although very unfashionable to take him now. I mean, like it's okay. I mean, it's a little bit of value hound on Rome here. How are we set up? We're set up good at quarterbacks, so take whoever you want.
All right, I don't have a ton of Rome. I'm a little light there. Where are you at on the great Parker Washington wars? That's a guy people are pulling up here too.
Where I'm at is he's so obviously a bad pick. It's the most Gabe Davis, Russell Gage.
Go off, pig.
I mean, it's horrible, dude. He averaged 11.5 points per game, and now he's a 6th-round pick. Like, it's obviously terrible. However, due to the existence of Best Ball Palantir, I can no longer afford to make these stances. So any player that is clearly bad, I at least make sure to get 6% of them, so that, you know, just as the protection. But I mean, he's clearly a terrible pick.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can't take him over Tyson and Tate. I guess it's fine. Like once you get into Brian Thomas, like DK Metcalf, this tier is so long and flat, but I don't know.
The historical comps for Parker Washington, like if you run, I think it's like
we pulled it with Dwain earlier. Yeah,
it's like what 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns for like first career like 25 games. Like there's zero hits in his cohort. Like 0 guys who would have paid off this price.
We went through them. It was like Hunter Renfrow, Rashard Matthews. I forget all the other names.
Hey, I guess Renfrow would have been a hit. Renfrow had he was like a wide receiver 9 one year.
Right, but it was what they did the following year where they really tailed off, that they couldn't keep it up.
Yeah.
To me, the Parker Washington stuff feels like the ultimate best ball bro who inhales every single piece of off-season news as if it is oxygen to keep them alive. And the Jacksonville beat reporter industrial complex have been pumping out Parker Washington propaganda at such an absurd rate that people are overdosing on it. And it feels like it's getting double and triple counted in these draft rooms.
I mean, it's just one of those things that is going to make bad fantasy football players feel special, because they get to say, oh, you know, all these people I listen to, they don't see the thing that I see. They're only looking at the data. They don't understand X, Y, and Z. So it makes bad fantasy players feel better. And of course, there's some chance that Parker Washington really is one of the most unlucky guys of all time. And it's just very unlucky that he was outproduced by all of his teammates in Jacksonville. And there was some kind of conspiracy against him, and he is quite good this year. But if you are using any kind of like significant heuristic process, you can't get to him as a good pick.
Well, you know, we did it in this room. We got him to fall 10 picks past ADP by bear posting Parker Washington.
I mean, what I have whatever, you know, 7% of him because Best Ball Palantir
you're a new man.
exists. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We have Genty and Walker. We have Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Carnell Tate, Rome, Adunze about to be on the clock at 7:10. I mean, is this where we just do the Herbert thing, right?
Has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take Justin Herbert, the 2026 MVP. I mean, what is the most poetic thing? Does Sam Monson still have an MVP vote? If it's Sam,
God,
Justin
he
Herbert
shouldn't. I tell you what,
Patrick
he
Mahomes?
shouldn't.
It'd be so good if he gave the deciding vote on a Patrick Mahomes for Justin Herbert MVP case.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you like
be,
in this spot?
I think positionally it just has to be Dowdle, who I don't even like, but
you feel behind the 8 ball when you have Genty and Walker here at running back?
it's more like the next running backs we pick. I don't really care. Whoever you want. I mean, this is just not a. It's not a great range to pick from.
No, it's not. I'm cool with Rico there. I guess I just didn't feel necessarily the pressure at running back.
I tend to feel the pressure with 2 because you have to assume Genty and Walker will they're gonna have down weeks. They're gonna Kenneth Walker could very easily miss some time. I mean, Walker.
Wait, Davis, don't capitulate to the Kenneth Walker being injury prone narrative. I thought we were holding the wall on that one.
No. It was actually more that there are going to be some games for Kansas City. You know who Kenneth Walker profiles like is Derrick Henry. Where Derrick Henry at the end of the Titans run, it was just like, man, shit. Like this guy's like not nearly as stable of a fantasy asset, and then he goes to a great team, and it's just like, oh shit. The Derrick Henry experience is fully here, right? Where it's all based on breakaway runs. It's all based on touchdowns, but he's not going to play third downs. Like DeMarcado is going to be the third down back for Kansas City. So there will be some games where he's like, 9 fantasy points or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the profile's the profile. I do think though, if we get the volume that he got down the stretch with Seattle, it just won't even be an issue.
Yes. Yeah. Frankly, my concern-o-meter in terms of the proletariat revolting against the best ball bourgeoisie on Kenneth Walker is quite low. I feel very strongly about Walker having a good season.
Yep. We got a 1-3-4-0 Genty Walker, ripped off 4 wide receivers, Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Carnell Tate, Rome Odunze, stacked it up with MVP Justin Herbert, came back and grabbed Rico Dowdle as our RB3 here. Are there any other guys in this specific drafting window of the summer, whether it's risers like Josh Downs that you're trying to get ahead of, or are there any moves you're specifically trying to make right now?
I mean, I can see this range of running backs that we just went through, the Stevenson, Harvey, Dowdle, Warren grouping of guys. I can see like no major thing happening and news rising there. Like if we get a report, the Steelers all get into camp and we get, actually Dowdle is the one playing on early downs or Ramondre. I mean, right. Don't we get, isn't there going to be one story where, Ramondre is the starter? I mean, just it'll be Ben Volen or whatever.
I feel like that's the assumption that everybody has.
But it'll be more overt.
On the clock here, Kyle Pitts, Pittman, Jacoby Myers, Bo Nix, Matthew Golden, who I know we both like, Rashad White. What do you want to do?
Let's take Pitts.
All right, let's do it.
It's just kind of like a nothing range. Like,
yeah.
Do you feel strongly about any of those picks right there? I do not.
No, I will say I'm getting pretty Matthew Golden pilled and don't mind grabbing him. I also love Kittle, so that always complicates the Pitts thing for me. But otherwise, I agree with you. It's very flat there.
Yeah, I like Golden quite a bit. We just had that argument with our co-managers. I'm also very Golden pilled. Maybe we should have taken a quarterback there because now we're kind of in the trenches. Yeah, let's just take Golden though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We have Ward later, Geno later. We have Mendoza with Genty, so I'm not too spooked quite yet.
Actually, we should have done the classic move right there, which was take Worthy, then take Love, Worthy. I mean, they are basically the same shitty guy. Take Golden, then Love, or Love, then Golden.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Worthy and Mahomes, because then I'm like, that might just be a Davis move. I don't
No,
know.
you can't even do that anymore. Big ETR, big leg up, like big fantasy football now. Dude, there was a stretch where I was taking Worthy in like the 130s.
Yeah.
It's over now, dude. It's over.
I should mention Davis referenced it. So over on Ship Chasing, we are in our first high stakes FFPC main event draft of the year. We are doing our mini-sodes for YouTube members on the Ship Chasing channel. Basically, every time we're on the clock or every couple of times we're on the clock, we talk through our decisions. We are in the double-digit rounds now. We've had some really interesting spots to talk through. I really like how the team is shaping up, but go and check that out if you guys want to hear us talk through what's really my specialty: redraft managed fantasy football. This best ball stuff, it's kind of just a little side gig.
Yeah, you've really been leading the way on that. You know, you've been in the streets, you've been doing, research on like some redraft stuff. You've been tracking the FFPC ADP. You've even been, pulling up main event draft board just so we can kind of stay locked in on what we need to be doing positionally. So it's just kind of inspiring to watch a master work.
It really is. And I'm happy to kind of impart whatever knowledge I can to you guys in the same way you help me out with this best ball stuff. 1-3-5-1. We have our one quarterback, Herbert. So we'll have to figure out how to land the quarterback plane, 3 running backs, Genty Walker and Rico. We add Matthew Golden to Garrett Wilson, Lad McConkey, Carnell Tate, and Roma Dunze. And we did grab Kyle Pitts there at 106. Are you dabbling in any of the dark arts of Tua/Michael Penix, or not quite yet?
Not in 18 round drafts. So in the super flex stuff that is now closed, I think Malik Willis, Penix, and Deshaun Watson were my most drafted players. And I hate to admit this, but I do take Watson and Shadur on DraftKings in the 20 round drafts. It's very, very David Kitchen
as like QB3s,
because like Jacoby Brissett and like Mendoza are like 13th round picks, 14th round picks on DraftKings. So it's like you can't really build them in as part of your backstop. But like the Cleveland guys are 20th round picks. I'm like, do I want to take that, or do I want to take Charlie Collar? Like, I've done enough capitulating. I don't need to take Charlie Collar here.
Yes. About to be on the clock at 11:10, 1-3-5-1 quarterback stuff. We'll probably have to take Ward.
I was going to say,
the next picks.
I would say just say take Ward now.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you like love Kincaid here, but let's just do Ward.
I do. I mean, Kincaid, whatever. Although I did just post this on Twitter. I'm doing some new like tight end research for a video, and all this stuff. I brought in some of Dwayne's research, some of Pat's research, the play action pass rate stuff, and the number one breakout signal on it was Kincaid, which I did think was like, that's a bit on the nose.
Our co-managers were trying to sell us on him in the main event too, and I'm just like, man, it's like enough with this guy. I can't do it.
I completely agree.
This is a spot I don't mind if you want to do like the Gadsden plunge. We could do the Missle with. Oh,
I was gonna say I have a much better pick for us, Peter.
I'm gonna make you choose between. This is really hard. Chris Rodriguez or Keaton Mitchell. Do you have a preference?
Give me the Missile, brother. Give me the Missile.
This is what I'm talking about, though, with the Charger stuff. Like, I'm skeptical of the Missile. I'm not quite on that train with you guys. But if we're going to do this, let's fucking do it.
Everyone is skeptical. It's, what's funny with the
they're not. He's going at pick 135. There are people who are
everyone serious is skeptical of the Missile. Yes. Kerrane doesn't want to draft the Missile. Jacob doesn't want to draft the Missile. I'm sure Dwayne doesn't want to draft the Missile. Mason is like, dude, I wouldn't draft this guy with my 18th round pick. Like, I'm not taking this guy at all. Like, no one who I frequently stream with wants to do the Missile. But come on, man. Come on. Some things are just preordained.
So the reason Keaton Mitchell can't be that wasn't the comment I wanted to pull up. It was like, can he be the ship chasing clip? And now I can't find it. But anyways, the reason he won't be the ship chasing clip is it has to be a player we universally like across the board, that we're constantly in agreement, and we work ourselves into a fever pitch of just like, yes, we have to take this guy. That's not going to happen with Keaton.
We've so lost Kerrane from being the fever pitch guy. Kerrane is too
He's
measured now to be the fever pitch
He's
guy.
a different man.
Yeah. But I mean, basically, the thing with Mitchell, so really, Keaton Mitchell is kind of the same pick as Parker Washington. You can't really get there from a database heuristic argument, right? It's kind of a lot of vibes and pattern matching and things like that. And the pattern matching is the McDaniel stuff. And I mean, really, the 2024 rushing yards over expectation are the two things.
This team is really reaching across the slapsis. As Daniel says, this team is MAGA meets Bernie Bros. For sure. Genty Walker, Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Carnell Tate, Roma Dunze, Justin Herbert, Rico Dowdle, Kyle Pitts, Matthew Golden, Cam Ward, Keaton Mitchell. We are splattering all across the slapsis here.
This is so good from Nez. At least Parker Washington was good in football games. Go back and check. Go watch 2023 Keaton Missile and come back to me.
You know who else is good in football games? And I know Nez knows this because he's been a Jacoby Myers guy for a long time. Jacoby Myers is good in football games.
Dude, okay. Jacoby, whenever Leone decides to start caring about football again, he's going to like run his little numbers and be like, so Jacoby Myers is going in the 4th round, right? And then he's going to look at the rooms and he's going to spit his coffee out. He's going to do a spit take saying Jacoby Myers is ADP when he finally starts drafting.
Yes. In a second, we'll go watch 2023 Aiyuk highlights as well. People were talking to me about something with a Xavier Worthy clip that Hayden Winks retweeted. What is this about? Do you know?
Oh, he just like looks really bad running routes in.
Wasn't he camp MVP?
Yeah.
So what is
I
it?
think I would say my personal opinion would be I'm not smart enough to make sense of what is going on there. I mean, he's running routes in not cleats on like tall grass.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. We do have Garrett Wilson. If we want to go like the Sadiq thing and set up a Geno double, Trey Tucker, Hunter Henry, Brenton Strange, Brian Robinson, Debo, anything jump out to you?
Sadiq is fine. I mean, are we going to miss a quarterback if we don't take one here?
I don't think so because we have Mendoza and Geno potentially.
We have both. Yeah. Okay.
But we probably should just pull up the quarterback here because I feel like we have a solid base at running back, wide receiver, and tight end. So I don't mind just pulling up. Do you have a favorite for this team, the Geno double or the Mendoza with Genty? We could also take Trey Tucker and see if we can push Mendoza.
I do not care.
All right, let's take Trey Tucker. I feel fine with Herbert and Ward. We can do something funky if we want.
When Cam Ward is your quarterback too, you got to get a third. You got. I drafted a fair amount of Cam Ward, but the Will Levising of Cam Ward, the Josh Rosening of Cam Ward, like Cam Ward could be a remember that guy next year.
Yes.
So I'd take a third with him.
Well, here's my thought on it. We have the double with Geno. The Omar Cooper drafter is behind us on the board. I will dare the room, and I know this is risky to do. I will dare the room to take naked Geno Smith if they would like. Also, Davis, how young is our audience if they want me to ask you about the star method? These people don't even know. They don't know.
These people genuinely don't know anything. They really don't.
Dude, I've made videos about the community suing you for losses directly resulting the star method. This was what? Was this 3 years ago, 4 years ago when we did all this?
I want to say, Peter, I want to say this was 2021. I want to say that it was, I believe it was Best Ball Mania 2.
Because you were timing out, like, you were ripping in like Justin Jefferson, Vikings stacks. You would go star method, I think Jordan Addison, and you were waking up to Jordan Addison in round 2. I want to say is when I remember that.
I remember the worst one was I was drafting in the sauna. This would have been whenever Devontae Adams was on the Raiders. And I remember having a round 3 star method Derek Carr.
Yeah. And that was the whole thing. It was like, yes, you got the correlation, but you reached 130 picks ahead of ADP to lock in that correlation. All right. Mendoza goes off the board here. So it looks like we can grab Geno Smith here. What do you make of the ETR rank of Geno? They have him at 244 as essentially undraftable.
I assume it's the same thing they're doing with Jacoby Brissett, that they are giving him significantly less than 17 games.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying this is a guy who is not contributing to the fantasy football postseason, which frankly, to me, is actually the smaller part of the argument for the 3 quarterback stuff. The thing that I like about the 3 quarterback stuff is it juices advance rate like across the board about 1.5%, which is massive.
Is there anything you see here to want to try to push Geno? The Omar Cooper drafter is behind us, so we should probably just do it if we want it.
Just Geno.
All right, there you go.
Nothing. I would say, assuming this legal thing with Geno turns out to be nothing, I would actually say he's got a much better chance of starting 17 games than Jacoby Brissett. Like much better.
For sure. Yeah, the Jacoby Brissett thing seems legitimately dicey. The team seems to really want to start Carson Beck at some point. We have a 3-4-6-2 Davis, Justin Herbert, Cam Ward, Geno Smith, Genty, Kenneth Walker, Rico in the Missle at running back, Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Carnell Tate, Rome, Matthew Golden, Trey Tucker at wide receiver, Pitts and Sadiq at tight end. Lots of different ways we could go here. Anyone catch your eye?
Frankly, this would be, I would take Terrance Ferguson here, but
what?
Yeah.
You're that high on him?
This is where I have him ranked, but I really don't care.
I mean, these guys are all the same to me. It would mainly be if like there was a running back like a Sean Tucker you didn't want to miss out on ahead of him.
No, the running back I want to take is probably probably not Pete approved. This I'll say the running back I want to take is not going to be in the top 200 in the Fantasy Life magazine when it hits shelves, I don't think.
All right, before we get to that running back, sell me the pen on Terrance Ferguson.
Terrance Ferguson is going to be the functional wide receiver 3 as confirmed, as reported by multiple boots on the ground guys in the Los Angeles organization. Jordan Rodriguez did a big report on him last year and how he was kind of in the back half of the season, Ferguson was kind of the key that unlocked the 13 personnel. Like if you look at the, yards per route run stuff with Puka, T-Ferg on, T-Ferg off. It's a clear beneficiary. The work that our guy Coop has done on tight ends has found that tight ends with a high average depth of target, that tends to translate well year over year. That tends to be a positive prognosticator. And just looking at the way the Rams function, you either have to believe that Colby Parkinson or Terrance Ferguson is a giga mega smash, because this is a team that's going to have 550 dropbacks, 600 dropbacks potentially. I mean, maximum, you'd say 300 targets, 350 targets to Adams and to Puka. You give 80 to Kyren. There's another 220 targets remaining. And another thing, this is actually Kerrane's work, Jacob's work. The Rams had the number 1 most amount of fantasy points available per dropback because Stafford never runs. He never gets sacked. They're always aimed throws. So there just is a ton of meat on the bone for him, basically.
Do you think he can get there without an injury? You think he can be a true breakout?
I think, yeah. So my degree of confidence is much different from other people in fantasy football because I think that he can just straight up play over Parkinson.
Yeah. Yeah, because what? Davis Allen's still there. Isn't Higbee kicking around still as well?
Yeah, Higbee is making... Higbee has $3.5 million guaranteed, up to $8 million with incentives. If I view this very similarly to how Kerrane is talking about Tootin with C-Rod. If Terrance Ferguson is not good enough to beat out Tyler Higbee, then he would have been bad even if Tyler Higbee didn't exist.
I've been really trying to boost my Jaydon Blue exposure. Can I get you on board with that?
That's who I was talking about.
That's your guy?
That was my guy.
Handshake emoji to talk about Jaydon Blue. You said he wasn't going to be my guy, and I just told you I'm trying to get some.
Well, I was making fun of you for being a redraft guy. Basically, no one involved in Jaydon Blue's career ever said he's bad. They just said he's like an immature dickhead. Like Jaydon Blue quit on his high school football team, and all of the stuff from Dallas this offseason has been Schottenheimer like praising his maturity, saying he's really changed how he approaches the game, yada yada. So it's like I don't need to hear that Jaydon Blue is in the best shape of his life. That is assumed. My concern with him is that he is not a serious person, and it seems that he has changed his attitude.
All right, final pick here, Davis. We have a 3-5-6-3. Guessing this is a wide receiver pick for us here.
Yeah.
Don't know if there's anything correlated you like here. Herbert,
Brennan Thompson would be the correlated one. Taekwon would be who I would take. He's a bring back.
Let's do Taekwon. Dwain was selling me on him being like one of the best 18th round selections here. We do get the bring back. I like this call, man. I mean, we get the bring back. Isn't he exactly what you want in a week 17
if you're a June depth chart guy, which I'm assuming the Parker Washington drafters are June depth chart guys, there's not really an argument against Taekwon. He was, I mean, since Tyreek left, he's been the best deep receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, he like. And I just fully anticipate him being the wide receiver 3. Now they are going to play Noah Gray like a decent chunk or whatever. But Juju is on the Giants. Like they told Juju adios, sayonara. I'd be surprised if Jalen Royals or Cyrus Allen got significant run over him. I mean, you're fading Diggs signing there, and you are also Ollie is correct. You are also fading them signing Tyreek.
Well, I will say this. To me, if Diggs were to sign with the Chiefs, I would be way more worried about Worthy than I would be Taekwon Thornton.
If Diggs signs with the Chiefs, Worthy's like a 14th round pick.
Yes. Yeah. I think Taekwon Thornton's role is like pretty insulated. Like he's going to do what Taekwon Thornton does.
So I agree his role is pretty insulated, but it could go from like 62% route share to like 33% route share. The role could stay the same, but just the degree to which he is on the field could change.
Yeah.
Because you're even if they sign Diggs, they are going to like Worthy is not going to go to like Worthy's going to play.
Yeah.
Thornton, the new Justin Watson, like,
but he's way more of an athlete than Justin Watson. Like he's able to get down
of course. But that role, I mean, it's the DeMarcus Robinson role, it's the Marquez Valdes-Scantling role. But having a guy in that role who can, Sammy Watkins before that, like having a guy in that role who can earn targets is quite nice.
Yeah. No, I've actually been wanting to get some more Taekwon Thornton and just trying to find the right spots for it. Obviously,
how funny, by the way, is the ETR Cooper Kupp ranking? It's just every time, because I always check my rankings versus everyone else to see if I'm like really off on anyone. And every time I look at the ETR, I'm like, it's so good.
Let's see. The funny thing about it is I just had Levitan on and I just said, ETR trying to shove Cooper Kupp down our throats. And he said he didn't want to be associated with the Cooper Kupp rank. He's even distancing himself from the Danks and the Jack Millers and the Leonis, the Sushis of the world.
It's so fun. It's so perfect that Leone has delegated his work to these guys who have just immaculately continued his spirit. It's perfect.
All right, Davis, we did it. I went on your stream a couple weeks ago. I think I had to bow out before the final 2 picks. You told me you would still give me 50% equity in the team. You technically joined me for, I want to say 15 of these 18 picks, but in the active reciprocity.
And I definitely would have told you to take both of the same guys anyway.
Okay. All right. Yes. Jetty and Walker is a very Davis start. So yeah. I will give you 100% or 50% equity of this team. Here's what we did. Herbert, Cam Ward, and Geno Smith. Now maybe you don't want equity in this team. Jetty, Kenneth Walker, Rico, the Missile, and Jaydon Blue. Garrett Wilson, Lad McConkey, Carnell Tate, Roma Dunze, Matthew Golden, Trey Tucker, Taekwon Thornton, Kyle Pitts, Kenyon Sadiq, and your boy, Terrance Ferguson.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not really a Trey Tucker drafter, so a little bit there, but yeah, that was a very was a very Davis Mattek coded team. Although I don't have a ton of Adunze because I'm such a burden drafter. That's a good team though. I mean, basically following all the rules.
It was funny too because Levitan was asking me like, what is driving this Quentin Johnston ADP, right? Is that your boy Mason? Is Mason doing
I assume like here, let me check. I don't think Mason can't have him ranked that high.
He loves QJ though.
He does love QJ, but Mason is such an ADP guy. Okay, Mason updated his ranks this morning, and Mason has QJ ranked. He does have him ranked 78, so
and that's where he's been going 77. He goes 79 in this draft.
Yeah, but Mason also, like, I would assume that Mason would have happily kept him wherever he had him ranked, in the 90s or whatever. But he is such a market-based drafter that he's just going to move those guys up. Yeah.
What's it been like being in the flock trenches, the war room? I mean, you give me shit for being a redraft bro. I mean, Mason has the biggest redraft audience in the fantasy football space.
He does. Honestly, it's mostly just Mason just works all the time is really what it is. Just like seeing like he is always on with the devs, like, or just doing whatever, introducing a new feature or negotiating something. Like he just is always, the fantasy football is only part of what Mason does. There's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Have you gotten word or official confirmation if you're in the flock league, or is that still in the balance?
It's still in the balance. I mean, I would say it's like 99% likely to be happening though. So
what is the content workload for that? Like, are you having to do weekly recaps, sending in videos, talking?
So I have to do all that. I will say right now they're doing like all like the audition stuff. And because I was not in the league last year and because it's not like confirmed, I don't have to do any of that. But yeah, it's like, weekly clips. You can film them on your iPhone or you can film down the desk. Mason also was floating out this idea, which I don't love, frankly, which is that the punishment is not just at the end of the year, but there's like, if you're last place in a given week, there are also going to be punishments. So there could be like ritual humiliation. If you just have like, if someone just drafts a team that is just snake bitten, you get like 4 season-ending injuries and you're just getting pumped every single week. It's really not ideal.
Well, there's a difference too. Like I'm realizing this, doing So You Think You Can Tout. All these guys are what, a decade younger than me for the most part. You're going to be
yes,
older
these guys are
than
all younger than me.
There's a lot different. We talk, the most cliche, spend 24 hours in a Waffle House ass fantasy punishments. That's a young man's game. That's 19-year-old. That's not our age. People with kids, you can't be doing Waffle House shit at our age, Davis.
No. So if I am in the flock league, I certainly hope that my team is good.
You're going to have to be locked in on that team.
I'm going to have to be more locked in. I'm going to have to be more locked in than I've ever been locked in for a draft.
Yeah. See, even Davis doesn't drink. Nez says weekly last place finisher in my league has to chug a beer on video. You'd be chugging flat Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Got it. Got to keep that thing on me, Peter.
There you go. What else are you like cooking up? Like, what are because you have the 3 different YouTube channels now, like the Best Ball, the Dynasty, the Redraft. Are you flipping? Are you going to join me on Team Redraft here pretty soon?
I mean, basically I'm going to have way more stuff on the Redraft channel. So I go on this vacation next month and I going on to these national parks and then coming home.
What are the dates on that? I need to know for other purposes.
Yes. July 8th to July 22nd. I'm going to be gone.
Okay.
So if you need me on those, I was going to say like, it also like, I can be around, like probably not for everything you might need me for, but we can figure something out. But when I get back from that, I will probably do like, I'll have a redraft video out every day when I get back. Maybe even 2 a day.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Yeah.
I do think I need to give the team. Did we do the final recap here? Was there anything else? Did I read the whole thing?
You
Davis?
did. You did. You serviced. You made sure the audio listeners were serviced.
Because if I forget, they will come after me here. Any other guys that, as Josh and Hayden might ask you, you're not leaving your draft without right now? Clearly, Terrance Ferguson.
I would say, honestly, Terrance Ferguson is really the only one that my exposure is getting irresponsible. Like over 1,000 drafts, I think he is the only person I have over 20% of. So I'm pretty reasonable there. Honestly, now that Worthy is more expensive, Rice is more expensive, and frankly, big fantasy football coming for Mahomes, I would say this could very easily be like the most close to like data neutral my Chiefs exposure could ever be in terms of like what like a Nash equilibrium of what they should be relative to their projections.
Okay. Data muse. Casey is no longer your muse. Is that what we're getting at here?
No, I mean, I still have what I have 175 Worthy teams, 173 Walker teams, 151 Mahomes teams. So
that's my favorite thing is knowing, like, let's find the line of who's someone you have 73 shares of, which is my entire post-draft portfolio.
All right, I hope it's a really funny name. All right, 73 shares on Underdog Fantasy. You know what, Pete? You can't even make this shit up. You cannot even make this up, brother. I have exactly 74 shares of Parker Washington. You can't.
A guy that you hate, you have more shares of than I have total teams. Incredible.
Correct.
Incredible.
Correct.
How many shares of Travis Hunter?
How many shares of Travis Hunter? I have 127 Travis Hunter teams.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you know what name is up here at the top of my exposures that I feel like I haven't drafted in years is Deshaun Stribling. That discourse feels like it was a year ago at this point.
Yeah, Stribling about Stribling. Well, he got to an appropriate price. You know, the bit you did with Kerrane where you were like, Stribling just sounds like something I would eat. That was, of all your improv comedy bits that just immediately hit, I was like, that is exactly what Stribling sounds like. It does. It sounds like a little like a little treat I would give my son as he's like starting to learn how to eat solids. Like, oh, you want a little Stribling?
I gotta give the chat had that as the comment and I just rolled with it. But yes, Stribling about Stribling, nibbling on the Striblings. I'm still down to nibble. You want to talk about stuff never being priced in? Doesn't the day Aiyuk gets released or traded or whatever, like Stribling's gonna go 20 picks higher? Like, isn't that just what happens?
That cannot possibly be true.
I want to call my shot right now and say someone takes Stribling at 140 the day Aiyuk is released.
Dude, there's got to be. I remembered being stunned at the AJ Brown rise. A Stribling rise with a guy who has been saying, I hate Kyle Shanahan, I hate John Lynch, I hate Brock Purdy, I hate George Kittle, I hate everyone on the team. They're the worst organization of football. If the market can't price that in, my results in best ball are even more embarrassing than they've been up to this point. My counterparty is the dumbest person alive, and I still can't beat him. You know what I'm saying?
There is someone in every underdog draft after news breaks that is the Leo pointing at the screen meme, where they just want to go into that draft and capitalize on the news, and they do not care about where the price used to be, where it's headed. They got to go get your guy. I'm telling you. And in that same thing, like say Aiyuk ends up on the Commanders, I promise you someone's taking him like right after Parker Washington in a draft the day.
I mean, Commanders. I think, frankly, I just think that is where Ayuk's price is going to settle. I know there are many other opinions out there on Brandon Aiyuk, but if our long national nightmare on Brandon Aiyuk finally comes to pass and he does finally end up being a Washington Commander, there are a legion of Aiyuk faithful. I mean, your namesake, Mr. Underset, is on X the Everything app every day. He is reply guying 49ers.
I think I have that
podcasters.
guy muted. I don't think I could have done it anymore, but I need my underset updates. Is he
He's
slandering my good name?
I tell you what, he's very funny. Because he just, and this, I mean, this is my For You page is honestly like all like the worst best ball accounts imaginable because it's a rage baiting app, but it does get me to rage bait, but he's on there and I just get his tweets of him tweeting at 49ers podcasters being like, in my world, it would be illegal to say these things about Brandon Aiyuk. Like, it's just so like, he is fighting a one-man crusade on Brandon Aiyuk's part.
Should I unmute him? I mean, sometimes I've told you people that are good people to unmute. Should I unmute Underset?
You should definitely unmute him.
Okay.
Yeah, he no longer is making it his life's purpose to say that Kerrane is a criminal for creating.
Yeah,
a
I think that was probably back when I muted. Yeah.
I don't think he wants Kerrane imprisoned anymore. I think his driving focus now is he wants 49ers podcasters to be imprisoned for besmirching Brandon Aiyuk's good name.
All right. For that cause, I'm signing back up. You are officially unmuted here, Underset. Davis, any thoughts on BBG week? Are you having BBG on your channel as well, I saw?
Yes, BBG is going to come on with me this afternoon, and we are gonna draft some teams together for BBG week. So let that be a lesson to PPR Tyler, who got on stream and talked a bunch of shit about me. Let that be a lesson to Kurt Rambis. Let that be a lesson to all. So you think you can tout contestants, which is, do not besmirch my good name without thinking.
Don't bite
first.
the hand that's trying to feed you. That's good. Good words for everybody, right?
Yeah, and the key thing, B. Kieran does make a good point, which is that I do not forget. I remember all of you dipshits forever, dude. I tell you what, I do not forget.
All the people that trolled you before you had the YouTube channel now, right? They
Yeah. You could have said something to me 6 years ago in an offhanded way, and I remember it.
Well, there you go. Davis, we will be back together tomorrow on the Swolecast. You will be back on ADP chasing. What else should people look out for?
I'm gonna stream in an hour with BBG.
All right, there you go. All right, Davis, thanks for hopping on with me. We will catch you later. All right, without further ado, the chat's been going crazy for it. If you guys don't know the lore of our guest joining Pat and I today, and let me get Pat up on stage with me here. BBG, within the world of So You Think You Can Tout, he had a rough go of it at the start of the show, got off to a slow start with the submissions. Then we gave PPR Tyler a choice. Hey, after the Tout Twist episode, how did he do? And we said, look, you can save BBGs on the bubble, or Pat, you can get $500 in site credits on Underdog. That's one big dog there. PPR Tyler, his eyes lit up. He said that's a lot of Superflex teams to draft, and he chose the site credits. But as things happen in life and in shows and in reality TV, we brought it full circle. We gave BBG a choice. Hey, PPR Tyler's now on the ropes. You can save him, or you can have an entire week dedicated to you. Come on here with me and Pat. He loves Pat. I'll go on his stream. We'll do an After Dark. And Pat, you were enough of a draw. I think you are what tipped the scales. He said, I want to come and draft with Pete and Pat.
I don't think I tipped the scales necessarily. I think you have to take the deal when that's the setup, right? Like almost the deal had to be like sufficiently good before it doesn't look like ridiculous to take it, and then you take it because I mean, PPR Tyler took the deal. Like you got it's like you kind of pulled that. It's an awful movie, but that where you press the box and someone you don't know dies. Have you heard of this?
Please no spoilers on where we're heading with the show.
No, I'm spoil it. And then the people press the box, and they get like $1 million or whatever, and then someone they don't know dies, and then they take the box to the next family and offer them the same deal, and the people that are going to die are the last people push the button. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
right.
what you did. It's what you had a full circle moment here.
So BBG, settle this. Was Kerrane the tipping point in the offer? If I just said, hey, you come on with me for my solo draft, the offer's the same, do you go a different direction?
No, I don't think so. I think I take it anyways.
See, yeah, that's what I'm
Kerrane is the
saying.
cherry on top for sure. And I know people, I'm playing into the fact that people know I have like an affinity for Kerrane's podcast from back in the day, and still, of course. So I played that up, but yeah, dude, I would take the deal, get in front of all these people on Best Ball Breakfast, get to promote my channel and Toxic Tower and all that stuff. So yeah, I think I would have done it.
Here's what we're going to do. Let's give him the proper introduction. It is Best Ball Guy from the Best Ball Guy YouTube channel, from the Toxic Tower, from So You Think You Can Tout. I have a link in the show notes here with a link to his channel. It's a direct subscribe link. I'm going to drop it in the chat here as well. BBG, quickly let them know what kind of content you do, what's your streaming schedule, if people want to enjoy the BBG experience after Best Ball Breakfast.
Yeah, absolutely. Just tonight we are having Meg Shope on for multiple Best Ball drafts. I typically do long form Best Ball, kind of like Best Ball Breakfast, where I'll do 3-4 in a row, about 2 days a week, usually on Monday and Tuesday evening. Toxic Tower fluctuates. We usually do 2 shows a week, either one on Wednesday and Thursday or Tuesday and Wednesday. So whatever the off day is where I go in and fill that in. I think you'll be happy to know I'm actually working on some short form content. I just filmed my first one this morning, and that'll be coming out over the holiday weekend. And yeah, that's the game plan for now. Just doing 2 longer stream drafts on my channel, 2 Toxic Tower shows a week, and the short form stuff should come out on the weekends.
Beautiful. And Kerrane, I don't know if I told you this. I gave you a heads up, obviously, that BBG was going to be joining us. But because I knew BBG was such a ship chasing fan and like an OG ship chasing fan, I did actually offer him. I'm like, you can do BBB with us too, or if you want to hop on ship chasing on Wednesday, we're going to draft an FFPC team. I was like, oh, you could join over there if you prefer ship chasing. Talk us through your decision there, BBG, of the pros and cons of that.
Yeah, so I actually called my good buddy NP43, who I kind of got into this whole best ball thing with, and I was like, what would you do? And he told me to straight up ask you, and that's what I did. I was, I remember you said to the touts even, if you want any advice in this space, like come to me, ask questions. And so I took that to heart, and I was like, I will ask Pete. Like, what would you do, Pete, if you were me? Would you go on Best Ball Breakfast or shift chasing? And I loved your reply. You said, I think Best Ball Breakfast would get you more recognition. It'd probably be hard to get a word in over Davis anyways on ship chasing. So
that was my thing.
What are you looking for? Because if you're looking for the hang, the ship chasing would be pretty good. Ship chasing a little longer, typically go over an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll definitely get more time to speak.
I'll say if it was a managed league and I could be around for a while, I was like, oh, I think I'd take that deal. But the fact that it's a best ball team, I think I was like, I got to go for Best Ball Breakfast. Just me, Pete, and Kerrane. That sounds fun.
There you go. Pat, is there anything we're gonna draft here with BBG? That's what we always do here. Do you have any questions for BBG on BBG week? Things he needs to know? Obviously, we draft with the sidekick. What do you want to prime him for what normally happens?
Can we get in a big dog here? Is it possible to fill a big dog?
Hey, there's been a lot of nice things done for these guys. Let's not push it here, Pat.
I got a third on it. I got a third on it.
Yeah,
No, because big dogs now reserve a very special place on the show. Levitan, last time I did a big dog on here, Levitan tilted his face off, said he was never going to draft with me ever again. I think when you ratchet up the stakes, what happens is people's true colors come out, mean things are said. We've been
streaming together a long time, Pete. I think we can handle it. And BBG seems like he has a good vibe. I bet we could pull it off.
And frankly, I'm getting sick of all the old dusty guys you and your Sims want to take. So,
wow.
Okay. that's how it's going down. All right, we are going to draft here. BBG, are there any things that you specifically want to come out of this draft experience with? Are there any of your guys? Obviously, Henderson was your tout twist guy. Is that still a flag plant for you?
I'm loving Henderson, and I would actually love to talk to Kerrane about why you like Henderson in the redraft stuff more than best ball. That is really confusing to me. Just thinking through that, I feel like, I get the general case, like when he's the guy, he's easy to start each week. But but I feel like he's also going to have games where he maybe only gets, 45% of the work, but he'll rip off a 50, 60-yard touchdown and spike up into your lineup. And that'll actually be hard to know when that's going to happen for managed.
I think that is true. I think the issue with Henderson is just in best ball, the price of like your you're paying a lot for a guy that you probably aren't going to get like consistent production from, for a decent chunk of the season. And in best ball, I think that hurts you more than it does in manage. Where in manage, you're like, because you're picking your starters and everything, you're not gonna like your opponents aren't gonna get the random touchdown spike weeks from their guys. There's a little bit of a lower bar. And then, especially early in the season, you're like, I want a guy who at the end of the season, if he's the dude, could just crush it for me in the sprint and give me that upside. I also think that like a sprint format like the main event, because you keep the scores all 3 weeks, maybe that upside of like, I need this dude. You truly need him a little bit more than even in Best Ball Mania, where, he has an amazing week 16, but you're going to get through without him. I assume we go on Jamar Chase here.
BBG, do you got a preference of these wide receivers?
Oh, absolutely. Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has been the guy, man.
And so, you're taking on this risk of a lower advance rate,
right,
for the upside throughout the season of him ripping off plays, but really more for the upside that he becomes the clear-cut starter. And I just think that it's just a little bit too expensive. Now, he's not like a full fade for me. I'm probably like 4 or 5% on him, maybe 3 to 4, something like that. But it's one of those guys where like, I really want to draft more of him than I am. But yeah, it's compared to the other running back options in that general range. He just does not pop in the sims the same way.
BBG, how much do you think, because I draft with Kerrane, we definitely skew toward the sim racks. Occasionally we'll deviate here. Are you worried about this turning into Top Guy Monday? Are you going to pound the table and look your hero, Pat Kerrane, in the face and say, fuck yo, Sims, I'm getting my guy?
I'm more of a roster construction guy. So if everything's making sense to me, like I'm good with the top guy, I guess. But we'll have to see who the top guy is. I did actually get my juices flowing this morning on a Chad Candles stream to kind of get warmed up today, and he uses the Sidekick. And there was one pick, like we had Achan, Jr. and Tyson. And it was telling us to take like Cam Ward ahead of Tyler Shuck. And I was like, what is that? Go get Tyler Shuck. So I don't know what happened there, but it might not have been Ward. Maybe it was Willis.
It probably wasn't Ward.
It might have been Willis. I'm not sure, but
interesting.
It was an eliminator for what that's worth, but no, that would be who the top guy is, and I'll make a
eliminator for what that's worth is not nothing. You don't want to stack necessarily an eliminator.
Okay.
You're trying to just, it's a cash game every week. It's a 50-50 game. So that stack could actually work against you if the whole team craps out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I did try to galaxy brain my way to Purdy McCaffrey on every team last year, thinking I just want the Niners offense. And it worked for McCaffrey, but not for Purdy. Obviously, he got hurt. So
I think the quarterback running back thing isn't as bad, but the Tyson part of it makes it tougher.
Definitely pounding the table for Jeremiyah Love here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Sidekick says Nico Collins. Second is Jeremiyah Love. Give us the bull case on Jeremiyah Love here, BBG.
I mean, you have a talent the likes of Bijan, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs in his rookie season at the 2-3 turn. We saw Bijan priced at pick 8 or 9 his rookie season. 4th overall. Cardinals expected to be bad. What if they're not as bad as we think? We saw them offensively actually be semi-decent last year. The Carson Beck thing is concerning, but Jeremiyah Love's playoff schedule, for what it's worth, is Jets, Saints, and Raiders. So that's really fun. And I think it's just a good talent bet at this point. And also
BBG, real quick.
Yeah.
McBride, Breece Hall, Devontae Smith. Who do you like here?
Ooh, probably Smith.
All right, let's get him in here.
I think just receiver. I don't know. I've just been doing the later tight end thing. They just seem to make the teams feel better to me.
Pat, what do you think about the Love and McBride pairing together?
I think you're betting on the Cardinals, you know,
Okay.
and you get the elite tight ends, so don't have to bet on the Cardinals. You know what I mean? I think McBride's a really good pick where he goes. I mean, he was the number one target on his team in the way, like, that's what you want, right? If you're going for that elite tight end, you actually want him to be the top guy on his team, which he is. And he's been falling. He's been falling to like the mid third. I don't really understand it. He was the clear tight end 1 last year. I like Bowers more this year. But yeah, I do like I just like McBride straight up, like in the third. I think he's a good pick in the third. So with Love, I think he actually makes a lot of sense because you're already betting on the Cardinals.
I think I see both sides of it because I do love the correlated angle that Pat's describing, but I'm also with BBG that I like every one of my teams better when I push the tight end there. And I love Devonta Smith. So it's kind of just like a roster construction thing there. BBG, do you buy the Devonta Smith could be this year's JSN argument that some people have been floating?
Oh man, not really. We were kind of running out of time there. I probably would have taken maybe a different receiver, but I do worry, like they add Stowers, Wicks, Hollywood Brown for what that's worth. I know Smith is produced when AJ Brown was off the field, but that was in years where the wide receiver 2 or 3 was like Olamide Zaccheaus and a bunch of random guys. Like they do have other usable targets this year. I don't know if the Slim Reaper has like 140, 150 target like season in him, but if he does, then it's going to be amazing. And he's definitely good for a bunch of spike weeks. That feels good. I like the Eagles offense to bounce back this year with a different OC. So I could sell myself on it, but I don't know about I don't think he goes full JSN. No, I actually think my pick for the JSN this year, I got 2 guys, would be either Garrett Wilson or maybe Zay Flowers for this year's JSN call.
Yeah. I like Flowers a lot. I think Flowers has, I'm not that into Smith, and I think part of it is because like he goes ahead of guys like Flowers typically. Well, the Flowers have moved up some, but yeah, I'm not as confident that Smith can be the clear number 1 in the same way that Flowers can. Just because of, I think maybe to start the year he could, but then you do have Mekhi Lemon and Stowers, more Lemon, kind of interfering with that.
All right, we got Jeremiyah Love. We go Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith. We're going to pick here at 410, best available by ADP. We got Burden, McLaurin, Loveland. Loveland does go here. What are you eyeing up, Eric?
Waddle for sure. Yes.
Nice.
Big tier pick for me at receiver.
Yep. Pat, I feel like we've clicked Waddle in this spot many times.
Waddle's a great click, man. You were talking about how he's like George Pickens last year, and it's like, why were we letting this guy go in the 4th and the 5th? Like, he's a good young receiver. This is, pretty clearly a situation upgrade from like the end of last year. I mean, maybe if he ever got like to be the true number 1 with McDaniel when Tua wasn't awful, we would feel that it's not an upgrade. But I think it's going to be built around him, and they're excited about how he's looked so far and everything. So.
Is this the brand play?
It's got to be TreVeyon. Yeah, I'm not coming on this stream.
I mean, he's only second. It's not like he's buried.
He's not buried.
Yeah,
that's fine. Sidekick likes him a little bit.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
bring back on Waddle.
Yeah,
it's not that Henderson is an awful pick where he goes. I mean, sometimes he's gone before this pick, but assuming he's in the 5th, it's not like he's an awful pick. It's just like there's usually someone who sims better, and I'm going with that guy typically. So. But if he were like the 5'10", I think I'd have a lot of TreVeyon because then you're in a different part.
Jamar Chase, though,
That's like yeah. Well, I do have him with Jamar Chase, just not a ton.
Everybody has him with Jamar Chase, right?
Probably
if you're drafting him at all, yeah.
This is sweet. Yeah, I love this start.
Well, all right, BBG, sell us on TreVeyon Henderson, and you must include the word "furthermore" in your case.
Sure. TreVeyon Henderson, the most breakaway rushing touchdowns from the elite 2025 running back class we had last year, more than Hampton, more than Genty. Furthermore, had more points per game, or no, sorry, more points per touch than Ramondre Stevenson. Also more touches per game than Ramondre. I don't know. He literally just had like this massive breakout at the end of the season. I was saying this on Chad's stream that like, if they didn't make the postseason and you looked at Henderson's like end of the season run, he would be at the 2-3 turn. This is all based on Ramondre's usage during the postseason. I actually went back and watched one of those games because I know I have to make this Henderson case more and more as I go live here. Like they played the Chargers in the divisional round and they had like 2 crazy interceptions, and Henderson got the ball a couple times, but like anyone they would have gave the ball to would have got stuffed on those runs. I don't blame him. And like they were kind of just running the clock out with Ramondre after these 2 big like pick sixes. So I don't know. And then even in the Super Bowl, like they were getting trounced. They couldn't do anything. And during the fourth quarter, they were like, all right, maybe we should get like the really exciting, like fast guy the ball, just see if we can like break off a long touchdown. So I think they know that they have a really valuable weapon in Henderson. He was supposed to be a good pass blocker coming out of college. Notoriously, rookies are bad at that.
Yeah.
But I think year 2, you see, said he's working on it. And they just build more rapport in that aspect. I just think you're going to get more usage as his career goes on, not less. And I think he already had a decent amount last year. He had 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's got the ability to break off a big one, like huge spike weeks, 3 30-point games,
I think everybody buys that thesis. At least I do. The question is, isn't that already completely priced in here and there's not a lot of room to run from this price? I think that's the bear case on it.
I mean, unless they just I'll say this much. Ramondre is pretty good, like with the advanced analytics stuff. So it's not like they're going to stop giving him the ball, but I don't know. I have a dream of them not giving him the ball as much and just giving Henderson the workload. We saw Henderson handle the workload. He did great.
He literally smiled when Drake May went off. You were so pleased you didn't have to have.
Do you want Burrow with Chase? Or you want to do something else, guys?
You were happy as hell. I was watching.
I wasn't. I'm just
you tried to suppress it, but I saw.
No, Drake May is fine. He's fine.
You're so happy.
That's okay. That's my other Henderson case. Is Henderson's literally attached to like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh,
like,
here we go. You want to talk about fuck it up?
He is. I think they're gonna score so many points this season, and Henderson's just gonna be a part of it. I don't know.
I'm so glad Davis isn't here to interrupt you. This is great. Please continue.
All right, we're back on the clock here. Do you want to go with the double elite quarterback here?
Is there a running back that we like at all? I would actually pull up Harvey. I like him.
You want Harvey over
let's
Jalen
double
Hurts?
elite.
Can we double elite?
Yeah, do it. All right. Fine.
You didn't want to do Ramondre Stevenson with TreVeyon?
No, that's okay.
But we need to advance,
Yeah.
That's where Aaron Jones comes in. I mean, we're
no.
good.
I think you're right. I think Hurts here is awesome with Smith and then Burrow and Chase.
It is.
Fun.
I had a dream of taking Bo Nix on this team. Was all I was thinking. I love the Bo Nix price. I think he's undervalued. But anyways.
So here's what we did. We started Chase. We go Jeremiyah Love, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. We do get BBG's guy, TreVeyon Henderson there. We come back, Burrow with Chase, Hurts with Devontae Smith. Pretty fun there. We'll be set at quarterback. Eric, I got to ask you, you said you were an old school ship chasing fan. What was your intro to it? Was it our late night drunk streams, mini-sodes? When did you find ship chasing?
Oh man, it's definitely you guys and Gretch just talking about your FFPC teams and stuff like that. That's my best recollection of it. 2023 days. It was before I started my channel. So yeah, 2023. And then obviously, was that 22 when what year did you win, Kerrane?
2022 season, yeah.
Okay, so I was watching during that too, because I remember I just gotten into you guys. I just started watching during like the end of that year, and then I went on my YouTube randomly, and it's like live ship chasing is like Pat Kerrane's at first place for $2 million. Like Pete just starts the video like that, and I was like, what? That's just that blew my mind that someone I had watched on the internet, and you guys only had like, I don't even know, maybe 800 subscribers or less. Like
I think we had more than that.
Really? In 2022?
I think so.
Okay, maybe you did. I apologize, but
Yeah,
We've
no,
been
it's fine
working
because
at
we've
this
been
for a
doing
long
this for a
time.
while.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
we
not
started
taking that away
chasing like
from you.
2018 or something. So I think
If anything, I was trying to give you more credit that you were able to take down BBM. Well, anyways, it was just blew my mind that people I had been watching on YouTube were actually going to win Best Ball Mania. I just couldn't believe it. And then since then, I was like, wow, anything these guys say.
It was cool for a while, and then it just kept happening. I'm like, this isn't that cool anymore. Let's get some fresh blood up here winning BBM, all right?
Like Sherman won? Like, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. And I think,
man.
when Sherman won, we had like 1,200 subscribers. So it's like,
I think it was more like 900.
Sorry.
Please subscribe to BBG and Ship Chasing. We need it. All right. We have Burrow and Hurts, Jeremiyah Love and Henderson, 3 wide receivers, Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Sidekick likes some running back options here. Corum, Brooks, Manungai. We also have that second tier of wide receivers, obviously done at quarterback. What are you thinking here, fellas?
I'm interested what Pat says. I'm kind of cool with the top guys here. We kind of need running back and receiver. So,
yeah, I think getting the third running back's going to kind of dry up in a more substantial way past these guys.
You got a favorite?
I think that makes sense.
I'm Corum over Brooks personally, but I think we have the late season hammer guys with Love and Henderson. I think getting just some points going is the better bet. Also, I think I don't know. The Brooks before pick 100 thing is getting pretty slappy.
It's definitely a bit slappy. Not that I'm opposed, but we're anticipating things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, makes sense. I am a Hampton drafter, so yeah, I get it.
Well, it's interesting. Let's make this pick because Brooks still is here. Harold Fannin, Jacoby Dart, Bo Nix, but we're not going to do quarterbacks, I don't think. What do you guys think?
I'm either Brooks or I would go Myers or Pearsall. Actually, Pearsall's a bring back for the week 17. I like Pearsall a lot.
All right,
I'd go Pearsall.
Let's get some Pearsall here. I was going to say that you mentioned the Corum like early season points. I don't you think if Brooks hits, Brooks better chance for early season points than Corum?
Well, how does he hit? I guess I just feel like he's going to be mixing in with Chuba. I don't expect them to just give him the full workload off double ACL surgery, and he's never even really played like an NFL game before. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
no, I think you're right. Like I think if like one of these guys goes nuts to begin the year, it's probably Brooks because you're like, oh damn, like he's healthy, he's clearly the better back, and this was a really awesome pick. But I think a lot of the times that Brooks hits, it's because he is doing something early in the year, but it's more like he takes a little while to get going, and then he ends up becoming the lead back down the stretch. Whereas Corum, like, I think is going to have, like, I feel pretty confident that Corum's going to have a role. And so the seasons in which Corum hits, he's probably just like more solidly productive throughout. He does have contingent value as well. So, I mean, if that stuff breaks, his way, then that changes. But
yeah, and with them adding Garrett, right? Like just that amazing defense, they're just running the ball so much this season. Just putting the clock.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I guess I would just say I'm not even like the world's biggest Brooks fan, but if you said there was a chance for one of them to win the starting gig because of preseason and training camp, it's going to be Brooks. Like Corum's drawing dead to overtake Kyren. So I think that out would be something I would put a feather in the Brooks cap as far as early season production.
I don't think Corum's drawing dead to be like the 1A.
Okay, even coming out of
1B.
Training camp.
Yeah, from like a fantasy perspective, where he's like they prefer him at the goal line now, and he's like the guy they trust more as a runner, where like Kyren's more like he kind of gets chuba'd, to the dowdle of Corum, that kind of thing. And they've had a year to evaluate that, and then a training camp. That's not what I'm expecting to happen, but I don't think he's drawing dead for that.
Yeah.
All right. The Pearsall pick, I think Pearsall's undervalued. He had almost 1.9 yards per route run last year, and obviously Evans has missed time with like soft tissue stuff. Seems to be like kind of reoccurring. Kittle's coming off the Achilles. McCaffrey's 450 touches last season. So I don't know. I know Pearsall's been injured, but I think if he stays healthy for a season, he's actually gonna be pretty damn good in that Shanahan offense.
People also forget he's been shot.
He's got that dog in him. Yeah.
We don't have a lot of evidence for how long coming back from getting shot takes, so it could be a couple years.
Small sample size.
Is it 1.68 yards per route run? So the almost is doing a little work there on the 1.9.
I'm
Was it
Kittle,
1 point?
Kelsey, Andrews, Ferguson, Shakir, Bill. What should we do here, fellas?
I like Kittle. I know you do too, Pete. I'm cool with it. You had a little.
All right, let's bully. This is what, sometimes I just capitulate to Kerrane in his Sims, but now that I got my muscle here, my West Coast surfer muscle, we're going to take George Kittle, brother.
Let's go.
All right. I mean, this is a Purdy team, right? We have Purdy, so we need to be stacking the 49ers.
We have Pearsall.
All right.
We have Pearsall.
Yeah.
Eagles Niners is going to be like an 85-point total, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
We got it.
What
was his route run? It was 1.68. I thought it was
1.68. Yeah, almost 1.9 is a tough way to describe it.
Back on the clock, we can go Kelsey, Ferguson, keep pounding the tight ends. Shakir here, Jordan Mason here.
I think Kelsey makes sense because we don't have a tight end yet.
2 old guys. Wow, I love it. All right, fuck it.
All right. Well, you want to reach across the aisle, BBG, and give him one here?
Give him what?
We'll give him Travis Kelsey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We had to do the hard, this is what happens. You and I, we said, let's set this team up to win $2 million. And Pat said, I'll set this team up to win $50 or whatever gets us.
I just got a notification that apparently 10 more servers just came online for the Sidekick to try to save this team. So.
Oh my God!
The classic meme misquote is gonna be so funny. The route run. Anyways,
Pat, did you happen to read my article again in the news about the procedure that George Kittle had is a different procedure. It's the same procedure Aaron Rodgers had, that Cam Akers had, a small sample size, but it has been way more successful than the previous procedures as far as these guys on an accelerated timeline. And George Kittle's way ahead of it. And it is a small sample size thing, but every single piece of news we get about George Kittle right now is positive. I feel like we're being stubborn if we're not open to him in this range.
Yeah, I mean, I think like him returning to play quicker than expected for this injury, I do agree with you, is quite possible. And it does appear to be headed in that direction. He turns 33 in October, though, and did tear his Achilles. So I think as far as like him being George Kittle, he might not be George Kittle. Like that's the issue with taking him in the 10th, like ahead of like Andrews and Kelsey and these other guys who like are similar ages but aren't coming off an Achilles tear. So I don't really get why he is this expensive. I think it's too expensive. Even if like we've increased him on the news, I do agree that it's moving towards him playing sooner than we thought initially.
Yeah, I just think like if we are granting that this procedure could accelerate his timeline and get him back to, closer to full George Kittle. I mean, he's 3 years younger than Travis Kelsey too, right? Like there's still some meat on this bone for his game.
He's a year older than Mark Andrews, who's set up in a pretty good situation to be the number 2 there. But we're worried about Andrews because he fell off last year. But like, I think we should be worried about Kittle, who tore his Achilles. He didn't fall off, but he tore his Achilles. So he's likely to fall off coming off of that.
Yeah, I just want to be open to like what he's telling us. Everything seems very, very positive right now. 2-3-4-2.
Return to play wise, yeah. But like Akers sucked coming back. Like Akers was awful.
And neither Rodgers or Akers are even close to the athletic specimen that Kittle is too. So it's hard on a small sample size, but with those two. All right, we're back on the clock. I mean, Goddard stacked up. We want to go 3 old dusty tight ends, or do you see something else here you like, BBG?
Can you tap to running back? I guess I just see Pacheco. Not like Spears, but it's too early. Maybe I don't know.
Why don't we stack up Hurts?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's do it.
I knew we wanted a third tight end. I just didn't know if we wanted to wait.
No, I think it's good because it's a bring back on the 49ers stack.
You
Look at
guys are the
this.
ones who put this in my head, okay? This is 2022 ship chasing right here. You have to.
No,
have
we.
this.
This is how it works. We got.
Now you have more than 800 subscribers, Pete, don't you?
We got Eric to give the bull case for Pearsall as part of George Kittle coming off of this tear, and then we got him to draft Kittle and then sell it from that side. And now where we're settling is that 60 points are scored in this Eagles 49ers game in week 17, and we're all
Honestly,
happy.
like with this build, I think the Kittle, I think we like, thank God those servers fired up because I think we're okay now. We got the Kelsey and the Goddard. Like we're probably pretty. We probably are able to get Kittle to the end of the season where he might be more Kittle.
Are you a Spears guy, BBG?
I am. Yeah, I like.
Let's
the
do it.
Sidekick likes him too. Yeah, let's go.
All right, top guy, BBG guy. But Pat, to me, that's the whole reason I like Kittle, because it's so easy to chaperone him with all of these other tight end values, and I can have my cake of top 5 tight end upside while not paying top 5 prices.
Yeah, fair. I mean, if you really believe that he's like a great bet to be Kittle again by the end of the year, then chaperoning him like this, is definitely interesting. We have upside built in for Kittle. It's not like we're like think he's dead to get there. It's just a lot of time with Kittle. It's gonna be sad coming off an Achilles tear this old, like it is a lot of the time.
A wise man once said, we're all going to lose anyways. I would like to add a note to that. We're all going to be sad anyways. So might as well draft George Kittle.
I mean, he's like an explosive yak guy, right? Like that's like kind of the point of him. I've been a Kittle guy for a long time, but you used to get the stuff with Kittle, like he doesn't score touchdowns because he had 3 1,000-yard seasons before he ever had 8 touchdowns in a season. So it's like, well, you can't draft Kittle. He doesn't score any touchdowns. So, I mean, he's since scored 11, 7, 8, and 7. So that's been better, but it's still not like he has this locked in red zone role. He's not a gigantic guy. He's not Jimmy Graham or something where he's like towering over people. So,
yeah, but when you say explosive, though, like he's not like a running back. It's not like he needs to like hit the hole or something.
He kind of is though. Like he gets going, like he gets hit with shallower targets and then gets moving after. His 8 was 7.1 last year.
I do concede like a lot of the appeal of Kittle is the yards after catch and the athleticism. I also think his game could age very gracefully. Like I'm even thinking like late stage Antonio Gates, when he's like basically like hobbling around up there, but he's still catching 6 to 7 balls. He's still getting red zone targets. I think he could still be the focal point of the offense without the 40-yard house calls.
Dude, Jimmy Graham on the Saints, like.
I think if there's a Jimmy Graham on the Saints, it's Mike Evans because he's been kind of Jimmy Graham-esque in the red zone for
that's fair.
His career, most of his career. And he's huge. Mm-hmm. He's almost as big as Kittle,
All right. BBG, how do you think we're doing with this team? 2-4-4-3, Burrow and Hurts stacked up with Chase and Devontae, Jeremiyah Love, your guy Hendo, Blake Corum, Spears at running back. We also have Jalen Waddle, Ricky Pearsall, and then this hotly contested 3 tight end room, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Goddard. You like this squad?
I do. Personally, I think the running back in the 7th rather than Hurts is the way I like to play it because I know how that affects the running back room like typically, and now it looks a little thin to me, but I can't complain, dude. You guys are the ones who win all these contests, so
please don't lump me in. Right. Please don't lump me in with the winners.
If anything, you got a better bet than Pete now that you're on this stream. This is huge for you.
Let's figure out what we're going to do here at 14-10. We do have Stribling about Stribling, eating those little Stribling giblets here if we want to go all in with the Phantom stack. Also, Tyler Algier, if we want to double up on Cardinals running backs. The Sidekick's giving us that. Bigsby, Brian Robinson, what's it going to be?
Pat, what would you do here? I need you.
I'd go Stribling. We're betting on this game to go nuts.
You don't have to ask what Pat's going to do. It's Top Guy Monday, brother.
I mean, Stribling's one of my guys. Well.
It was nice of you to ask, but you don't need to ask.
Well, because I'm looking at Tyler Algier, and there is some interesting stuff about like handcuffing your running backs out there. But I'm like, do we want to do the Cardinals though? Like, they're never going to be playing from the lead, so probably not.
I like the double.
I think it's a
good
move.
The double Cardinals thing here.
All right, you know what?
It's a thinner running back room, as you said. So you're just like,
exactly.
yeah.
The
Cardinals are, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have like the big swings. So let's just get the guaranteed points. Cardinals running back, whatever. Let's go Algier. That's gross,
Right.
but
I do like
I
Bigsby
actually think
too,
it makes
but
sense.
I do think it makes sense. Well, it kind of goes to Pat's point about the McBride stuff, right? Like, if we're just betting on the Cardinals to be successful, I'm pretty sure Algier is going to have a standalone role. Like, he's going to do what he did with Bijan, right? In the Falcon system, if all goes to plan. Like, it's not a true handcuff, right? Don't you guys think we could get?
I agree.
You know,
it's not
Algier,
a true for best ball for managed. Like, yes, it is, but for best ball, not necessarily, because you're going to have Algier. You know, Algier's like maybe a little Henderson-y to start the year, dare I say, where you're going to get some breakaway runs, some touchdowns, that kind of thing. He pops into your lineup here and there, and then you know, he has contingent value, which we don't really want for this build, but it's more like, hey, this is a thinner running back room. Maybe it gets unlocked by like Corum emerging down the stretch, TreVeyon Henderson emerging down the stretch. Maybe Tyjae Spears is a contingent play, you know, down the stretch, something like that. But we might actually need some early season points that Algier can help fill in.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I just think it works for this build.
And I do think, yeah, like you said, with those two picks we had, Jeremiyah Love, Henderson, no one questions the ceiling on those guys, but there might be you still got to get there, bro. Kind of. So we're going to have to stack some production here late to make it work.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, back to the McBride thing, you know, if you take him there in the 3rd, it just kind of limits your ability to take Kittle in the 10th there, and that's, you know.
Yeah, what a shame that is.
Pick a side, BBG. Pick a side.
No, I'm in on the middle round tight ends. I do like Bowers a lot, and I do take McBride. But honestly, every time I look at my teams, I am like, I like them a lot more when I just grab skill position players at the top of the draft.
Are you you're Northern California?
Are you
right?
not considering
Santa
tight end a skill position?
No, it's not Northern. It's like Central. Is it a skill? Sorry, it's running back and wide receiver. Yeah, I'm not considering tight end a skill.
Wow. Just get booted from the skill position?
They're not. I mean,
So you're saying tight ends are closer to punters than they are running backs and wide receivers?
Well be. All they have to do is catch a touchdown. I mean, that's the only thing that makes them relevant.
Incredible. All right, let's see what we're going to do here in round 16. We got 3 more picks left. 2, 5, 5, 3. The Sidekick is screaming at us to with Dontavian Wicks. I'm inclined to agree. We also have some other wide receiver options, some running backs here. What are you guys liking?
The amount of Eagles and Niners is just crazy that it still wants us to take more, but I guess
you're going to accuse me of being Top Guy Monday here, but Dontavian Wicks as a bring back to George Kittle is a smash here.
Andy stacks with our quarterback.
As this is how I see it, guys. I used to say week 17 is all that matters. There's only 2 weeks that matter on the calendar. 1, BBG week, and 2, week 17 when the Eagles and 49ers play. Those are the only weeks that matter, right, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. This is great.
All right, 2, 5, 6, 3. We are cornering the market on every Eagle and 49er. We have 2 more picks. We're good at quarterback. We're good at tight end. Pat might want to tack on a 4th. He's a little worried about, maybe Darnell Washington to mop up some of that early season.
you might see him later.
You want some Charlie Kolar here, Pat?
You're going to probably see Kolar around, yeah.
But it does seem like wide receiver or running back is probably the prudent move. This is a typical Sidekick spot where it's not going to like the running backs. I guess I'll throw out BBG.
Yeah.
Do you want to bully the Sims? Do you have any late round RBs?
We need either K-Tron, Jaydon Blue, or like Damon Claiborne. You need a swing here.
I've been trying to take Jaydon Blue every draft.
Yeah, Jaydon Blue. Do it. Absolutely. I've been trying to take him too. Let's do it.
Pat, you're not part of this conversation. I just conferred with BestBallGuy. I know he's here to be with you, but we decided we're going to take Jaydon Blue here.
Why are we taking an end of season running back when all of our running backs are end of season plays?
No. Devontae, worst receiving running back in the last 3 decades in efficiency last season. Like, I think Jaydon Blue.
So they probably played Jaydon Blue then.
They did play him a little bit, but I think he'll play more this season. He's got his attitude right, Davis has
they had to sit him down. We're like, don't be an asshole this time. And then they asked him about it. They asked Schottenheimer, and he's like, he hasn't been an asshole so far, but I would like him to not be an asshole for a little longer before we change what we're doing.
See, this is the thing, Pat. Aren't you worried about the droves of sim bros just all drafting the same team? This is how you get unique after being a top click guy.
Yeah,
you throw the curveball. at the end.
Guard tree.
The guard tree is supposed to have good picks on it.
Okay, I will call my shot. Jaydon Blue will be a sim recommendation in August.
I think you might be right. I mean, Jaydon Blue is a guy.
I like that call.
We could easily come up on Jaydon Blue. I would expect us probably to come up on Jaydon Blue, but also we might come way down on Jaydon Blue. Like the thing about Blue is like you're kind of like, hey, Blue's on like a short list of players that I could see quickly moving up in training camp. Also, he was a healthy scratch like his entire rookie year and could be 0. So it's just like, you're kind of but if you're like, hey, I'm kind of getting ahead of what I expect to be a riser. I do think that's at least like a reasonable thing to expect to happen.
I mean, you put it like you look at the Cowboys didn't do anything to add to their backfield this year. All of the rhetoric out of Cowboys camp is they want Jaydon Blue to be the RB2. We can debate if he's up for it. I'm not personally too worried about the Phil Moffas and the Malik's Davises of the world. I do think he will be one of those risers, like you said, where we're just like, isn't this just the RB2 on a really good offense where we're kind of excited about a younger profile behind him?
I think the RB2 thing is like, it's not as clean as that, because he is like an undersized pass catcher where they've been playing Maffa with the ones as well. It's been Maffa and Blue. And I think Maffa is probably like the cleaner bet to be like the 2-down handcuff. So you're kind of hoping Blue, who, was not a workhorse at all at Texas, you're hoping he has like a standalone role as a receiver and then some contingent value for that role to expand.
BBG,
get in here.
Who do you like here?
I like one of the Ravens receivers, whether it's Bateman, Lane, or Sarratt. Does this team? Let's go. Go Bateman. No, go Lane. Go Lane.
All right. Look, we talked about the Ravens receivers with Dwain this morning. He was pounding the table for Sarratt. The chat was going crazy, asking us to talk about Lane, about Bateman. Tell us about Jacoby Lane here, BBG, or why you're excited about Ravens wide receivers.
I mean, I'm just respecting the fact that I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that the Ravens wide receiver 2 is literally in the 18th round right now somewhere, and I think that's a valuable thing to have. We have Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase stacked up, so that is a little bring back. I was just trying to look quickly, like, do we need early production from Bateman or maybe the late season guy with Lane? I saw Waddle and the other guys, so I was like, okay, we're probably good with just go Lane there. But I just think I think he's sick, dude. He's got like hands like glue. Like his ability to catch the ball in the red zone was nuts at USC. He was productive alongside Mekhi Lemon for what it's worth. He's not like the best separator and stuff like that, but his contested catches is insane. And one of my favorite things I've ever heard about him is actually from Siegel, who said that if you factored in all the PI yards that Lane accrued at USC, that he would have like the highest yards per route run or something. I don't know how he made that metric, but
it might have been a mental adjustment.
But yeah, it was just, you got a lot of PIs drawn on him, and he's just got the craziest hands, dude. I think he could even have like an Isaac Tesla kind of thing almost. I know Lamar doesn't throw as much as Goff, but just like a red zone weapon that's used, downfield red zone weapon. You're just hoping for that spike week and coming on the season late.
All right.
I do like Lane. I think he's a good pick late. I think Sarratt's a good pick late. I think both those guys. I'm probably like mixing it up a little bit more because those guys could be, either of them could be nothing. And there's a fourth guy in the mix, and Tez Walker, who appears to be ahead of them right now. And so it could be frustrating. And we could be talking about like a rotational third target behind not just Flowers, but Mark Andrews. So that's where I'm mixing it up, but I think there's clearly upside with both Lane and Sarratt. I think they're both good picks.
Yeah. I think I would have taken Sarratt if he was there, but he seemed like he was gone already.
Yeah, I think he was. Final team here. Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts both stacked up with their wide receiver ones. Jeremiyah Love, TreVeyon Henderson, Blake Corum, Tajay Spears, Tyler Algier, Jaydon Blue. I mentioned Chase and Devontae. We got Jalen Waddle, Ricky Pearsall, Stribling about Stribling, Dontavian Wicks, and Jacoby Lane. And then the 3 tight ends, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Dallas Goedert. An incredible mashup of BBG loves, Sidekick loves, and some other structural decisions here. How do you think we did, Eric?
I think it's great. It reminds me of like the team that took it down last year, where they won it on Derrick Henry and Luther Burden, like Slappy plus Sims, like it's got it all. So
Ooh,
I think it's really
okay.
fun. It's a thin running back room. I'll say that. But like if Love can live up to expectation, and come on, Henderson, please do it for me this year. You know, we'll be good. If those two guys get enough work, I think we'll be good, and so will Corum. I think we'll be fine.
I think we made the running back room work. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I think the running back room's good. It's not the sexiest part of the team, but you've got Love and Algier. You're betting on, you know, the Cardinals to be productive there. Henderson will spike for weeks, you know, hopefully enough. And then hopefully he just takes over at some point this year, which he's talented enough to do. And then Corum is also, you know, kind of a nice mix of like he'll have a role plus there's clear upside if he were to take over, if Kyle were to go down. So I actually don't think the running back room is like especially weak. And then I like the stacks, man. The stacks are fun. We got the Joe Burrow stack. Shane May didn't get back to us there, but you know, I'll take it. Joe Burrow to chase. And then we got the big old game stack with the 49ers and Eagles. So I think, you know, there were a couple spots that might have gone another way, but overall, it's a good team.
So Eric, before the show, an email, thank you for the super chat. Word on the street, there was some Eiffel Towering going around. Someone had sent over, Emo did a bingo game that people were keeping track of during your appearance here. I'll read a few of them. We have living with mom, surfing, ship chasing, old ladies, rug pull, toxic, furthermore, Discord, MP43, obscure health tip. I don't know if we got that. Davis Mattek, girlfriend, free square. How do you feel about some of these? Did they get you?
Yeah, I don't know. Did we get a clear bingo? You made me say furthermore.
If you bring up AI, I think we did, because Claiborne came up. Sidekick came up.
I got the answer here. Evo said over the updated answer here. We were so close. We needed rug pull.
Oh, dude, and I was gonna say it in the beginning, but you brought Pat on first. I was like, are you gonna rug pull me? And Pat's not here. You know, I was definitely ready for that, but
so we hit Grudge, California, TreVeyon plugs his own stream, Sidekick, free square, sucks up to Pat. Also kind of took a shot at Pat and our 900 subscribers there.
This is the same thing with like when you took my thing that you were a stepping stone. This is not what
this absolute nobody is about to take down BBM.
No. I thought we had like 1,000 people watching live when that happened.
Yeah, you probably did, but I don't know, man. Oh gosh. I don't know. That's like me with the yards per route run. I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass.
Well, so BBG, like I know how things go with you and your co-hosts. Do you think they're salty you did not mention their names once on this stream because they were on the bingo card?
Well, I would like to, you know, I was hoping maybe I could plug Toxic Tower at the end or whatever when you ask me. When I gotta go.
And that's it, folks. That's the stream. We'll see you tomorrow. Go for it.
No, I mean, well, I'll say a couple things. To
and can one of them be Claiborne and AI Claude? I'm trying to hit this bingo, bro.
Yeah. Hey, trust me, Pete, me and you are gonna have some fun on our episode tomorrow. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
So, but as far as like the PPR thing goes, people need to know PPR is like my day one. When I had no one watching my channel, some guy named Vaporware came into my chat. He said, "Hey, this other guy named PPR basically has no one watching his channel. Like, you guys should stream together." And we started to, and it was great. We actually gained like a small following doing that. And as with Emo, like I had him on, and we drafted our first BBM ever. We got the 101, and he wanted CMC. It was the year CMC was the 101, 2024. I wanted Jamar Chase, of course. But he's like, no, we have to take CMC. He misses the whole season, but that team still got like 4th place in the semifinals of BBM. That's how good that team was, even without having a first-round pick on it. So since then, I was like, okay, me and Emo can draft some good teams. PPR is my day one boy, and I love those guys, dude. Shout out to Toxic Tower. But yeah.
Do you still stand by your statement on the show that PPR is a subsect of your tree?
No, it's taken out of context once again.
I'm pretty sure.
Is that why you're streaming with those pruning shears after you took the side credit?
Yes, exactly. No, but we're one of those trees that, you know, branch out from each other like this into a bush kind of tree. Or like, I don't know. The In-N-Out next to my house has two trees that grow like this and make an X next to each other. That's me and PPR.
I see. Okay, so you're separate trees that have become intertwined.
Yes, we've touched along the way, but we are maybe moving apart. I don't know. This is getting weird. I'm sorry.
We've never had to fully.
You've touched trunks. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, midsections. It's like a belly bump, you know, like an old guy belly bump.
Now, honestly, I realize why you said subsect of your tree, because it's a little hard to explain it this way.
Yes. Well, it's like when you say
I think Emo might be able to explain it. Do you have any way to describe it?
Emo's a better host than I am. Yeah, he can take a full BBG soliloquy and like get it down into like 5 words really well. So
Pat, thank you for, being so game for BBG week. I know this is
of course
normally your time to shine, and for us to just top guy click our way through another Monday morning and try to punch out so we can hit the beach after. Anything you want to mention here?
No, this is a lot of fun. People should stick around on the Leg Up channel. I'll be doing Coach Speak Index. Will be joining me for Legendary Coach Speak. So talk through some this week. Not so much news as much as offensive philosophies. So that'll be a fun one. But
nice.
Yeah, we're on the clock right now in our main event.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Ship chasing team. So yeah, people should keep watching those minis. We had a good mini a couple of picks ago. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a mini for this one, but
I know this is one we need to talk about.
I know this is actually we kind of need a mini for this one more than usual.
All right, we'll figure it out. But BBG, let people know. Obviously, this was the kickoff to Best Ball Guy Week. Let people know what else is coming if they want to partake in all of the festivities.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I will say I have a very good surprise, at least in my opinion, for Pete tomorrow. He gave me an hour of his time, and we're going to use it. So join us over on my channel tomorrow. Let me use Eastern time. 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow over on my channel. Tonight, I'll also be doing a long stream, though, with Meg Schaup from Fanspeak Network. We have Toxic Tower Wednesday and Thursday this week. And yeah, and looking forward to putting that short form content out on the weekends. And so, yeah.
You keep mentioning, so tomorrow I'm joining you on your channel at 4. You keep mentioning a surprise. If you really think that you can pull a fast one over on me and ambush me with PPR Tyler and Ebo on there, I am far too smart for that, BBG.
No, it's not that. I just figured I'm Pete, what you're doing with the tout stuff, I'm really trying to take to heart. I'm like, all right, if I'm going to do this, let's be creative. Let's actually do this. The way I've been thinking about this whole thing is like, hey, if you shank your ball into the woods and you're walking down the fairway and all of a sudden you see your ball in the middle of the fairway, you don't ask, how it got there. You just play the shot as it lies. So basically I think
that's someone else's ball, BBG.
No, it's got my mark on it. It's got my initials.
Okay. All right.
But no, everyone has you, or like at least last season, you did your rounds and you just do a bunch of drafts with people. But I thought it'd be fun to do a non-draft with you and play a different game.
Okay.
Essentially. Yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't want to, I just don't want you to think that you can out scheme the king schemer here right now. Because I will say to BBG's credit, he messaged me, we were talking about, does he do ship chasing? Does he do best ball breakfast? He also said, hey, in lieu of doing my stream, this was a very selfless act from you. You said, will you do Toxic Tower instead for that kind of hour this week? And I said, BBG, I'm going to do Toxic Tower regardless. This is BBG week. We're going to do your stream. That said, if you try to pull the move of making Toxic Tower tomorrow at 4 p.m., there's no double dip. There's no individual BBG stream and Toxic Tower stream. I'm down to Toxic Tower with you guys at 4 if you want that to be the one thing, though. It's up to you.
No, trust me, Pete. I'll just say I'll give away a lot of it. I downloaded Claude last night, Claude Pro.
Okay, got it.
Pull it back
we
up.
Got it.
Get the screen share.
Bingo card.
And I went to town. I did not realize how much I am going to use this freaking thing. So yeah, we clotted it up. I have some awesome Claude slop for us to play tomorrow. And yeah, I got home at like 8 p.m. after visiting the girlfriend for the weekend, and I went to town until like midnight until I ran out of credits. And then it said it would give me more at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was up at 1:30 But I didn't get up to go do it anymore.
I think we hit bingos everywhere at this point. I think we did it. We did it. All right. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for hanging out, everyone. To Dwain McFarland, who joined us, Adam Levitan, who is in a slightly better mood today, Davis for joining me impromptu, and Sam Sherman slot, of course, to Mr. Best Ball Guy himself. Like I said, in the description, there's a direct link to subscribe to Best Ball Guy's YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check him out so you can be there tomorrow when we dive into whatever Claude slop he's cooked up. And as far as Pat and I, we're going to have Tuesday ADP chasing with Pat and the crew. Wednesday, we're going to draft an FFPC best ball team at 2 p.m. Eastern. I haven't checked to see if there's spots still available, but we registered in the one scheduled for 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. So if you want to draft against us, feel free to go hop in that. Otherwise, Best Ball Guy is going to be back on my channel Thursday night. We're going to do an after dark, 8 p.m. Eastern, no rug pulls, just you, Best Ball Guy, and Rickadooza. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. Just
I've
you
never
and
really
me.
talked to Rick, so maybe we get along. Who knows?
All right. Appreciate all of you. Go check out the Sidekick. Go check out Legendary Upside, Best Ball Guy. We'll see you guys next time on Best Ball Breakfast.